They took it out of the area. Before it was subdivided, you could come down the end of the street and use the loading dock thing as it is on the street. From here, they subdivided, it's now the only way.
Regular meeting of the City Council held in the Council Chamber on Thursday, June 9th, 2011 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on June 2nd, 2011 at 6:45 p.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. All councilors are present. Council President Ryan presiding. Councilor McCarthy moves to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? Voted. Please ask that everyone rise and join Councilor Prevey in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. Public testimony. We have one speaker tonight. If you just state your name and your address.
Maxwell McAuliffe on 82 Linden Street in Ward 5.
Okay, and then you'd like to discuss an item on the agenda, the slow children signs on Linden Street?
Yes. Mr. President, members of the council, my name is Maxwell Lee McAuliffe. I live in Ward 5 on 82 Linden Street. I live directly across the street from Councilor Fury. I am here tonight to raise awareness of the excessive speeding of cars traveling from Loring Ave down my street. Speeding is not a new issue in Salem, and it is not my main concern. My concern is that on my block, on Linden Street, from Asteria to Forester Street, there are at least 20 kids living on that block because of the size of the houses on this block. There are very small backyards, so we play hockey, football, and baseball in the street. We have gotten good at yelling car when we hear a car coming down the street and around the corner. My concern is that someday we don't see or hear a car and one of my friends or myself gets hit. Linden Street runs down a hill and curves onto my block. By the time cars come down the hill and around the corner, they are moving fast, and that is where we are playing. So I come to the council tonight to ask if the city could place go slow signs at the top of Linden Street and paint children at play on the street just below Wisteria Street. Hopefully this will help. Thank you for your time, and a special thanks to Councilor Ronan for placing me on the agenda for tonight's meeting. If there are any questions, I would like to answer them at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Do any councilors have any questions? Councilor Fury.
I have the pleasure and privilege of living across the street from Max. And it's one of the busiest streets, as Councilor Ronan was very thoughtful to allow Max to come here, to help Max come tonight. And I live right across the street from you. I'm your neighbor, right? Mm-hmm. Your friend Derek and my own Tarek play street hockey and games outside. And they're wonderful neighbors to have. And it's a very busy street coming down from, they come down from Salem State College, Atlantic Avenue, up Linden Street, and they play out in the street, and it's their neighborhood. And our neighborhood is a very special thing, and we're lucky to have so many nice neighborhoods, and you live in, and I live in a nice neighborhood. And that motion is very mature and responsible on your part. Could you tell a little bit about yourself, Max? What school do you go to, Max?
Horace Mann School, and I just got a $20,000 scholarship to Tower School, which I was the first community scholar to ever get that.
Horace Mann's loss. And so I hope, remember, Councilor Ronan, please.
Councilor Ronan, then Councilor O'Keefe.
Yeah, Mr. President, through you to my fellow members of the council. I was a little surprised, but not entirely surprised, to get a call from Max McAuliffe, because he's a very well-informed constituent in Ward 5. He pointed out this issue to me over the phone, and we talked about it, and he convinced me that it would be a good idea to put Go Slow children's signs on Linden Street in the vicinity where he lives. I can't speak about the issues any more articulately than he did. Max, what grade are you in?
Third going into fourth.
For a third grader, he's really a remarkable kid. So I hope you'll all have my support when I propose the signage later on in tonight's agenda. Thank you very much, Max.
Thank you.
Councilor O'Keefe?
Just, Maxwell, wait. Just a question to you, Mr. President. I think at the whole council. How old are you, Maxwell?
Last month I just turned 9 on May 21st.
So you were just turned 9
Yeah,
a month ago. Just about.
yeah.
Very good.
Wow.
You'll be here in the city council maybe 20 years from now, sitting.
I hope so.
Well, I won't be here, but you'll be here.
Councilor Ronan?
Yes, Mr. President, I would ask that we take a matter out of order, and that would be this matter with respect to the signage on Linden Street. It would be to go to motion, no, is this on, this is
Page 6, motions, orders, and
page 6, motions, orders, and resolutions.
Councilor Ronan's asking to take out of order, go to motions, orders, and resolutions. And go to his, any objection? None being. Councilor Ronan?
Yes, ordered that 2 yellow warning signs, slow children at play, be posted in front of number 82 Linden Street, facing in both directions, for the reasons given by Max McAuliffe tonight.
Under discussion?
No further discussion, Mr. President.
Okay. All those, all those in favor?
Roll call vote, Mr. President.
Okay, roll call vote. Can I see 3 hands? We have 3 hands. Okay, 1 second. Roll call vote. All right.
Mr. Chairman, a personal note, his mother teaches, what does your mom teach?
She's a math tutor.
Where?
Horseman.
Horseman School. And who's behind you right now?
My dad, Gavin McAuliffe.
A very proud dad, I can see him very proud there. Yes, we're all very proud of you.
Madam City Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counselor Sosnowski,
yes.
Counselor Sargent,
Yes.
Counselor Ronan,
Yes.
Counselor Prevey,
Yes.
Counselor Pinto,
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier,
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe,
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy,
Yes.
Counselor Lovely,
Yes.
Counselor Fury,
Yes.
Counselor Ryan.
Yes. Okay, on Councilor Ronan's order to, motion to bring in a slow children's at play sign at Linden Street, 11 councilors voting, 11 in the affirmative. The matter carries. Councilor Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President, I would move that we return to the normal order of business.
Councilor Ronan orders to go back to the regular agenda. Thank you very much, Max.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks, Max.
Thank you.
Okay. We are hearings.
An order from Comcast to repair underground vault cover on Summer Street.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that'd like to speak in favor of the petition?
It's a tough act to follow.
Yes.
Yes, good evening. My name is Tim Broderick. Can you come to this microphone, please?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Tim Broderick. Yeah, with Comcast, 55 Concord Street, North Reading. The petition before you this evening is a request to uncover and repair a vault that was paved over in front of 34 Summer Street.
Counselor, anybody have any questions? Counselor Pelletier, is this your ward?
Yeah, I spoke with Tim on a couple occasions. I asked him to send a new map, which I'm looking for. I think you all have it. Yeah, this is the original, but the new one, this shows all the electrical banks. The new one here is this aerial view of Summer Street. All I asked him is that, before they do the work, they contact the people at 34 and I think 36 Summer Street to, how long you plan on taking it through this job? One day?
Yeah, a day, yeah.
Okay. So at least notify the direct abutters for the driveway there that they'll be needing their cars out of the way at that point. And pretty much it.
Okay. Anybody in opposition to the petition? Please come. Please come to the.
Yes, I have not seen the scope of the work.
Your name and address?
I have not, and what I'm just concerned about is previous work that was done there had caused some disruption at the bottom of the driveway, you know, the base. And if it's limited to the street, I have no problem, but if you're going up into the driveway, you know, I'd like to see it. In past work, it's been not done to, I mean, it's disrupted the driveway. I just recently replaced my driveway, you know, using new bricks to the tune of several $1,000s. Thus, I am concerned about the quality as well as the scope of the work.
Sure. It's our understanding that there's a conduit that goes from 34 into the vault already, so we don't anticipate doing any digging. We hope not to. We just hope to uncover the vault, surface mount it, and repair it. Now, obviously, I can't tell you what's under the ground. We don't really know until we expose it, but we'll keep you in the loop. I'll get your name and number, and we'll make sure that everything's
Well, I
done
guess,
as
you know, once again, as a homeowner living in the historic district who spends considerable amount of money maintaining the property and stuff like that, you know, like I said, I don't know you as a contractor, but I certainly have seen the work of the cable companies. It's not always been up to snuff, so I guess part of my concern is normally this happens after the fact that they have to go and dig and stuff like that. You know, once again, disrupting my driveway. So, you know, what kind of remedy do I have if there is any disruption further than what, you know, it's already in place?
Well, the only thing I can tell you is we will guarantee our work and make sure that it's done to your satisfaction. You have I'll give you my card, whatever we have to do to take care of you. Are you on the left side? Is this
I'm
your house
36,
here?
yes.
Right here?
Yes.
Yes. Unfortunately, you know, the people at 34 called up for our service. That's when we found this out, and we just need to repair it.
What was your name and address again?
David Henry. I live at both 38 and 36 Summer Street.
Council Pelletier?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Is that your driveway between 34 and 38 right
Yes,
here?
it is my driveway.
Okay, and is there a right-of-way easement in there? Because these guys obviously got lines on the ground, so there must be a...
Well, as I said, I'm not certain, but like I said, the, you know, previous work that, when it was put in initially,
Oh, I understand.
You know.
Believe me, we work with contractors, with
Right,
National Grid,
right,
gas
right,
companies,
right.
And I'm firmly behind you on this one, because anytime they dig up, they're supposed to put back originally what was there, was brick on top.
I mean, if this was 100 years old, or, I mean, even if it was 100 years old, like I said, but I just recently had the driveway re-bricked. And so, needless to say, the level of sensitivity associated with, you know.
I'll give you my word that it'll go back to its original.
And your name is, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar.
Counselor John Pelletier.
Okay, John, okay.
All right? No
Is this
problem,
word
I'll
good?
give you my card. I'll give you my card, you can email me.
Can I get your phone number?
Sure.
Yeah. He will give you a
617.
date certain when you're gonna do this work.
Absolutely.
617-470.
470
4041.
You're gonna
4041. Yes, believe me, if anything comes up, we'll take care
email
of it.
me the day you're gonna do this also,
Absolutely.
all right, so I can do a drive-by.
Yep.
You know, they might be able to, they'll probably take them 2 days, because once you pack it, depending on hot top. Now, let me ask you a question. Was this hot top owned by the city when they repaved the road? or-
Yeah, it
Believe
was.
so, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, we do a lot of that. Well, when the manholes sink and stuff,
Understandable.
if it's not the city.
And as I said, I mean, if it's limited to the
Vault itself.
the vault itself, like I said, I certainly understand your
That's what we
dilemma.
anticipate. We're hoping.
But, you know, once again, you know, I'm here as a
If
owner.
they go beyond that,
Okay, thank you very
let me
much.
know, and we'll take care of it.
I have a card for you also. I'll give you my card, okay?
Any further opposition to the petition?
I'm sorry?
Any further opposition to the petition? None being?
No.
Council Pelletier?
Move that the hearing be closed.
Council Pelletier moves the hearing be closed. All those in favor? All those opposed? So voted.
The Petition be granted.
Pelletier moves the petition be granted. All those in
The
favor? All those
understanding
opposed?
That he'll abide by the rules and regulations for street openings and repairs.
Okay. Okay, you voted. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Council.
Appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Donald Blakely Jr. to serve as a constable with a term to expire on June 29, 2013.
Council Lovely.
That be received and placed on file.
Council Lovely moves that be received and placed on file. Communications from the mayor.
We have a bond order and appropriation in the sum of $4,022,500 in connection with the proposed fiscal year 2011-2015 City of Salem Capital Improvement Plan for a variety of improvement projects.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before we take this matter up, I move that we move to committee reports.
Council McCarthy moves that we go to committee reports. Any objection? None being. Council McCarthy.
City of Salem, City Council, June 9th, 2011. The Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of the 2011-2015 Capital Improvement Plan, has considered said matter and recommend approval.
Okay. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
On discussion, Mr. President. Last week, the Finance Committee, we had an overview of the plan with the mayor. It was co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. We did an overview of the various aspects of the plan. The committee's feeling was that the plan needed to be approved. However, there was discussion to lessen the amount of the bond order. In conferring with the city clerk, the action that we wanted to take up during committee couldn't be taken up at that point because that action wasn't listed on our agenda. So therefore, the bond order was brought down in the full amount, and I would yield the floor. That would be the committee report. Then when we go back to the bond order, then I'll yield the floor to one of my colleagues who wants to alter the bond order.
Okay.
If
So on the
that's acceptable.
Yep. On the committee report, on adoption of the recommendation, any further discussion? All those in, Councilor Ronan?
Yeah, Mr. President, I'm not sure that was the recommendation of the committee. Specifically, what we're talking about is involved in this $4 million bond issue, about half of that, $2 million, is for the repair of the envelope of this building here. And we discussed that in Administration and Finance. My thought was that we had reduced the amount of the bond on that issue by half.
On conferring with the city clerk,
McCarthy?
if I may, Mr. President, as I just stated, on conferring with the city clerk, that action could not be taken up during committee because it wasn't posted that way on the notice. Therefore, that's why I've asked to take up this committee report. The recommendation, the overall recommendation, was to approve with the caveat of the reduction. We did not have that ability to do that in committee because it was not posted that way. So therefore, what my recommendation is we approve the committee's report to approve, and when we take up the full authorization of the bond order, we can take up the discussion that we had during committee and therefore amend it there as soon as we take up that issue, if that is acceptable to everybody.
Councilor Ronan?
I just want to make sure that procedurally we do this correctly. I'm not sure if it's at this point or if it's later on that I should make the motion to reduce the amount of the bond by $1 million.
Councilor McCarthy?
It would be, the committee report simply states to approve the capital improvement plan. When we take up the bond order, we can amend the bond order, address the bond order any way unfortunately, the discussion we had a very lengthy discussion which we'll be debating back and forth as soon as we take up the matter of the bond order itself, which, as you can see, is posted in front of us with the exact amounts and the way. When we posted the committee meeting, it just simply said general discussion of an overview of the capital improvement plan. We went through the capital improvement, we reviewed it. The discussion around the review was to amend the amount. Unfortunately, the way it was listed in the on our agenda wasn't listed that way. So in confirming with the city clerk, this is the way we decided to proceed. We'll just approve the committee report, and then when we take up the bond order, I will yield the floor to Councilor Ronan because it was his motion or his intent to reduce the bond order.
So Councilor Ronan, we're going to accept the committee report, and then when we bring up the bond order, then you can bring up your
Okay, just
discussion.
so long as what we're doing now doesn't have any dollar figure in it. It doesn't.
No, it's just accepting the
Thank you,
report.
Mr. President.
Okay. So all those in favor of the report? Carried. Now, back to the regular agenda, the communications from the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I just stated during our committee, we had the mayor and the finance director, the administration and finance committee, and various other councilors that wanted to attend to get an overview of the capital improvement plan. As we went through the capital improvement plan, there was some discussion with regard to the amount of the bonding, and there was some questions and some thoughts. And at this point, because those thoughts came from the good Ward 5 council, I will yield the floor to the Ward 5 council, let him explain his thoughts.
Did you have to do suspension of the rules?
I did do it. I moved to suspend the rules.
Okay. Councilor McCarthy moves to suspend the rules. Any objection? None being. Councilor Ronan?
Yes, Mr. President, this matter was heard in A&F, and it was my understanding until I came in today that the recommendation out of the Administration and Finance Committee was going to be to reduce the bond amount by $1 million. The reason for that is the administration is looking for $2 million, looking to borrow $2 million to fix up the envelope of this building. That is $660,000 for the roof, $150,000 for the skylights, $340,000 for the windows, and $850,000 for various masonry brickwork. When we took a look at that, the appraisal for the roof was for a copper roof. Obviously, rubber is a lot cheaper than copper. You can't see the roof on this building. It would be much more prudent to replace the roof here in rubber than in copper. $150,000, Councilor Pelletier pointed out, seemed like a lot for 4 skylights, which is what we're talking about here. The windows, the price that the administration was looking for was $5,400 a window, and the brick and masonry work, other than tying the roof in, our brick and masonry work is in pretty good shape. So it was the feeling of the committee that we could do the work for half of that price, or $1 million. Now, in this fiscal year, where the administration is looking to raise taxes to the tax levy limit, I think it's irresponsible to go out borrowing to get money to put a copper versus a rubber roof on the top of City Hall where you can't even see the copper. I mean, essentially, you can't see the roof here. So if it's black, rubber, or if it's copper, it makes absolutely no difference to the taxpayer. But what does make a great difference to the taxpayer is the cost differential between a rubber roof and a copper roof. So in this tough fiscal year, we decided that we would only authorize the administration to borrow $1 million to fix the building. If they couldn't fix the building for the $1 million, they can do what they need to do this year and put off further repairs till the city is in a better fiscal position in another fiscal year. So it will be my motion to reduce the amount that we authorize the administration to borrow by $1 million, specifically limiting the amount that we're borrowing to fix City Hall from $2 million to $1 million. In this tough fiscal time, we don't need a copper roof that we can't see. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're making a motion to cut it by $1 million?
Yes, I am.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Fury. Under discussion, it's going to go Councilor Pelletier, Councilor Fury, Councilor O'Keefe. Councilor
Mr.
Pelletier.
President, I understand what the council is trying to do here, and I did question the cost. The problem is we're bonding for $2 million. We don't have all the financial, all the numbers for what we're going to do, whether it's a copper roof or the Mass State Historic makes us put a copper roof, or we just do a rubber roof. I mean, that's neither here nor there for me now. The problem with that is if we under bond this $2 million and then we don't have enough to finish the job, we'll be in trouble. So even though it's $2 million, if it comes in under that $2 million, it's my understanding that we will only bond, if it comes in at $1.5 million, we'll only be allowed to bond for $1.5 million. But at this time, shortchanging us, I don't think that's gonna go a long way once we get, the numbers aren't in yet from the architects, or it hasn't been, the jobs haven't been bidded yet. So we're standing here, we have no idea, but when we do get the bids in and we know what it is, whatever it is, whatever that number comes up to, that's all we can bond for. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Council Pelletier. Councilor Fury?
Yes, please. Mr. President and fellow members, we recently redid the roof of Salem Public Library, which is very similar to this institution, one of the oldest libraries in the area, beautiful treasure, the old Bertram Mansion. We recently redid it with some copper work on that. The an expert committee was involved in doing this, involving the renovation of City Hall, the envelope, including the roof, the windows, the skylights, and masonry. I'm not an expert myself. I'm a city councilor. And I look forward to, and I trust experts. They recommended this process. This city hall is the second oldest and active city hall in the country. It is a treasure that we all see in this very chamber tonight. Yet we see peeling right above us. We see windows that are falling apart, old, probably have never been done. If not now, when? This is a treasure for all times. It belongs, and we are the custodians, the elected custodians here in this city council, to redo this. We repainted it, and look at it now. In a matter of a few short years after repainting this beautiful chamber, it's leaking all out. This is just one part of a building. We had a leak this year that did some of the documents in. I think Michelle may know, our assistant city clerk and our city clerk knows, that we had to make major repairs in this building. Even a few years ago, we had to put a vault in to preserve the documents because of the roof conditions. We're just putting our finger in a dike. If we cut this budget $1 million, we're going to come back and pay for it later on even more. Let's do a good quality job to a grand old lady, a grand building that's second to none, the second oldest city hall, active city hall, and let's not nickel and dime it. Let's give it a second chance, a second mortgage that you would want in your house, and I would want in my house. Let's not nickel and dime it. If we go under $2 million, fine and dandy, we save. But this is ours for generations to come. We look back, and custodians of our history, this is a jewel. The windows are falling apart, and it's long overdue. And I hope we don't cut the bond order. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Fury. Councilor O'Keefe?
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the council, you recall we went up to Collins Middle School this past weekend, and we heard all of the discussion from Mr. Grabowski and how the school, city council was told, the school committee was telling us that they could have done something different with the floors, for example, put the best floors in. They didn't. They put in carpets, and it's all rippling now like the waves down at Salem Little's Beach, and it's got to be replaced. So it's just one point. Listen to the experts. The experts say to fix the roof, put copper roof on the building because it's historic building. Fix the windows. Can't raise some of the windows. Some of them don't even have glass in them. But let's do it right now. Let the committee work on this and give them the money and the bond order, and let's hope for the best and count on it. Let's take the advice of the experts this time instead of up the high school where the water's coming in and there are buckets everywhere. It's atrocious what's up there. Let's do it right now here.
Middle school.
Thank you.
Councilor Pinto?
Thank you, Mr. President. I do recall at this meeting what we spoke about was not so much what it needs. I mean, it does need to be repaired. I mean, all these things in front of us need to be done. We talked a little bit about Peabody City Hall, how they did it in stages. They did their windows one year, they did their roof the next year. So I think what Councilor Ronan is proposing is prudent. I think it's wise. Now, as far as the experts go, they're probably the same experts that put the first roof on and it's leaking. So there's no such thing, in my estimation, as an expert. Nobody's an expert, okay? I don't care when it comes to windows, roofs, or anything. There's no such thing as an expert. Nobody's perfect. But as far as trying to save money, I mean, do we have to bond for $2 million? Can't we do it in maybe 2 phases? Can't we do the windows? The skylights, I think, came out to $37,000 a piece, the 4 skylights. And then, like Councilor Rowan said, it was $5,400 a window. So we bond for $1 million, we get some of this work done, we find out if it's gonna be, I mean, if we don't have to put a copper roof up there, why are we gonna pay for copper? It doesn't make any sense. I think a rubber roof lasts just as long as a copper roof, but that's what's up there now and it's leaking. So, I mean, I know it needs to be done. We've been in A&F all week. The budget is tight. The tax rate is going up. Taxes are going up. I think we can get it done with $1 million bond. We may not get it done all in 1 year, but we do a little bit this year, we do a little bit next year. Thank you.
Council McCarthy and then Council Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I chaired the meeting when this discussion went on. I listened. There's been 2 independent studies that have been done. One 5 years ago, one most recently. Both studies incorporated architectural firms that both came up with approximately the same number. Argument about copper roof facade. I know personally someone who went and looked at the roof. That was one of the recommendations he came down with, and he actually told me about it. But the fact of the matter is Councilor Fury stated, I talked to the city clerk about this, I think we're the first oldest city hall now, because the one in front of us actually is no longer an active city hall. So we're the #1 oldest active city hall. So yay for us. But we also inherited a whole bunch of old problems. One of which is the original roof. Now, I would love to make the decision. I mean, I'm a contractor. I've been doing it since I was 17 years old. I would love to go up and say, hey, just put copper drip edge on it, copper flash around it, put down rubber. No one's ever going to see it. It's not our decision. Because of the nature of the historic aspect of the building, we are required to go in front of the historical commission as anybody else does, or there's a process. Right now, the recommendation with the number in front of us is to bond up to a certain amount to cover all the costs anticipated that have been done out in 2 studies. They both came within approximately the same amount. I called a friend of mine, and we're not talking about putting vinyl replacement windows in an historic city hall. I called a friend of mine who happens to do windows. Without even knowing what the specs were, I just gave him dimensions of the windows. One morning I came, and I'm surprised, I got here before Cheryl. I was out with a tape measure, and I measured the window, counted the lights, and said, okay, I need a 49.5 by 87 high, 6/6, 15 by 20 true divided light glass. Can you just give me a ballpark number on it? Without even getting into the particulars of what the numbers that the architect had, he gave me a price of $3,500. That was without even knowing any particulars about what else was going on. I mean, they could be more intricate involved. We do not know what the aspects of these are. We are not the architects that spec this out, but we do have the ability to authorize a bond up to a certain amount. Once the bids come back, once they go through the process and they evaluate what the roof will cost, then once all those are compiled, if it comes in at $1.2 million, then we only bond for $1.2 million. Or if it comes in at $1.5 million, we bond for $1.5 million. But right now, with their best estimates, with the work that they've perceived and walked around and do, the experts, and whether or not you trust experts or not, all they have to do is give them ballparks. Right now, this is a ballpark bond order to bond to up to a certain amount. And when we get the prices back, I'm sure there'll be multiple people who bid. And in today's competitive market, there'll be the people, maybe they don't want $5,500. It's probably outrageous. Maybe it comes in less. But once all those numbers come in and the number comes in at whatever it does, then we bond for up to that amount. This is just authorizing them to bond to a certain amount with the best estimates in front of them. So my recommendation, I disagreed with the good counselor on this one. My recommendation would be to bond up to the amount, and then if the bids come in less, then we bond for less. And just for a little clarification, when it comes to doing contracting, the sum of the parts never equal the whole. If you're doing the roof and you have the place staged and you work out the deal so that you can do the windows and the brickwork at the same time, then you save the cost of the staging. You work it out between the different contracts. If you do the roof first and then you break it all down, then you come back and do the brickwork after, you've paid for the same thing twice. So sometimes the sum of the parts doesn't equal the whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Council McCarthy. Council Prevey, then Council Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. I certainly support Councilor Ronan's motion. Councilor Fury in his presentation made reference to nickel and diamond. When it gets up to $1 million that we're talking about, it's more than just nickel and diamond. We're talking about a substantial amount of money that the taxpayers of Salem are now being committed based upon the actions that we're taking here. And I think we have to take a very conservative approach to addressing these problems. As Councilor Pinto had said, Peabody did theirs in different phases, and I think we should do that. If by chance we fall short under it, maybe something new has to be submitted. But I think going forward, when we're looking at the budget last year was roughly $127 million. This year it's $129 million. And where we can realize some savings, I think we have to provide a little bit more oversight. I'm sure you know, people would be happy just to let the administration make these calls through whatever the experts are that are making these judgment calls. But, you know, we're the guardians of the public purse here, and I think we really have to show some scrutiny with regards to that and tight controls. And so that's why I'm in support of that. No one here denies the work that needs to be done. It's just, I think, the question of, you know, how it gets done, how much it costs, those are things that really have to be looked at. Thank you.
Council Lovely, then Council Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just looking at the math here, if we cut $1 million off, the roof is $660,000, and it would make sense to do the skylights at the same time, because the skylights are on the roof, right? So that comes up to $710,000. But then if you do that as phase one, which it would seem like you'd have to do those two together, then if you do phase two, which is the windows and masonry, that comes up to $1.2 million. So the math doesn't quite add up. Just chop off $1 million. There's not a whole lot, I think, real thought into that. It's just you just want to cut $1 million when those two phases are the separate amounts. We just had a walkthrough at the Collins Middle School. Similar scenario, a project that was done, 19 years ago. A lot of shortcuts were taken then because of money, because the people that were making decisions then said, you know what, we'll shortcut this, we'll shortcut that. What a mess, I'll tell you. I feel for the children that go to that school, for the teachers, the administrators that are in that school. We would go down hallways, just whole ceilings missing with water, big giant bins underneath for dripping. And you know, the odor. I remarked to Principal Manning, I said, Mary, what is up with the smell? Because I can smell it. She goes, I don't smell it, because the kids are there. And the teachers are there, and she's there, but we all smelled it. And I said, it was rancid. And that's where our children are going to school. Now we're taking care of that. We're going to bond and spend and do the right type of repairs there for roof and masonry and everything else that was shortcutted 19 years ago. Let's not shortcut this. It's going to cost us more money in the long run. Do it right the first time, get it done. So I'm not a mason. I'm not a roofer. I don't know, I think there's one on this council that can qualify, that could speak to that, in a qualified way. I certainly can't. It certainly makes sense to me to get this done, and get it done. I mean, the oldest city hall in the country, and how could we not take care of it? I mean, we just had a devastating leak a month, 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago. Vital records that weren't damaged, but they became wet and had to be dried out. And let's just get this done. Do it right the first time. It's just going to cost us more money in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lovely. Council Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was at that meeting where all these discussions were going on, and some of the questions that were raised were $36,000 per skylight. The question asked was, why is it so much? The next question raised was, why is it $850,000 worth of masonry repairs? What are the masonry repairs that need to have almost $1 million worth of fixing to them? Nobody could answer those questions. So therefore, these numbers that are out there, and these significant numbers, there was supposedly they'd get back to us. Well, they haven't got back to us yet. At least I don't believe they have. All right. However, on the flip side of this, I'm not saying I'm for or against this, but as far as experts are concerned, I remember when we first built the high school, the very first year it was built, the very first year it was built, the roof leaked. Now, and those were experts. Now we have a carpet that was down there because we chose Plan B instead of Plan A, and you're telling me, I wasn't able to make that meeting, but you're telling me that that's failing? Well, why aren't the carpet people being pulled back in? I mean, even the carpet, which might have cost a whole lot less than a primo floor, whatever the primo floor would have been, sure, that wasn't for free, but here we are. Now we're thinking about it, and I don't know. I'm concerned with the numbers here. I want to see explanations to things. Yeah, do things cost more than anybody could ever justify? Yeah, they do at times. I am concerned with this thing, and I understand where we're trying to save the dollars, but I'd like to have some answers before we go further. If it costs $2 million, fine, let's spend the $2 million. The other concern I would have is if we levy, not levy to the max, but if we bond to the max in this situation,
But while we're waiting for bids to come in, and that money is sitting there, is it going to be spent someplace else in the CIP program? Or will it be dedicated to just this building? Because this building needs a whole lot more than these 4 items that are listed here. For example, it could use an HVAC system here. We need heating. I mean, in the summertime, down in the clerk's office, it's what, 120 degrees? All right? In the wintertime, it's 30. All right? We have a problem in this building, and it's not even listed here. One of the serious problems here. And these things, this is going to cost some change too. So we need to address this building. Is it historic? Should it be preserved? Yes. But let's get some answers as to what the costs are and are they justified. And then let's get real experts. And if it fails when an expert does it, let's hold their feet to the fire. Instead of saying, oh, well, let's get another contractor to fix what the first contractor did.
Council
Thank
Salkowski,
you.
I believe that if we bonded for $2 million for this city hall stuff, if they changed it for something else, they'd have to come back in front of the council for us to approve it, because I've seen that happen a couple times. Council Fury, then Council Lovely.
Unfortunately, I was on the school committee 19 years ago when those bad decisions were made. And
So
we
it's your
listened.
fault.
Unfortunately, we're back here to repeat the cycle. We repeated the cycle. It was a real sad eye-opener for all of us that took that tour on Saturday. Council Lovely, and some of us took it, and we're going to take another eye-opening tour on the 18th to Salem South School. And that Salem South School should have been flashed, repointed, air conditioning should have been put in that building from the get-go. But those things were cut back on a political situation, not on an expert situation. Money, dollar line, cut $1 million here and there, and it's coming back to haunt us. I hope things, if we allow this motion to go and cut $1 million, I'm afraid that we'll be back repeating the cycle that we did in the schools. Let's do a quality job for a grand old lady, this city council, this oldest city hall in the nation, which now we can take that plaque down saying we're the oldest one. Take pride in it. Let's do a good job, as you and I would do in our own homes, sincerely. Let's not nickel and dime. We're going to see an eye-opener on July 18th on Salem South School. Let's not make the same mistake here. Thank you.
Council Lovely.
Yeah, Mr. President, just with regard to Councilor Sosnowski brought up the carpeting. Why'd they put carpeting? Well, they put carpeting in because they shortcut it. They were supposed to put in resilient tile flooring. And at the time, they said, you know what, we're not going to spend the money to do it. You should see the tile flooring in the original school, 1909, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
It's actually in beautiful condition. Doesn't have to be replaced. 1909, 100 years. But the carpeting they put in 19 years ago because they didn't want to spend the money to put in good, resilient tile flooring. And now it is a mess. How you could put carpeting in classrooms and hallways. I asked Principal Manning, do kids trip on this? It's all rippled, these big giant ripples, all through it. And they, you know what, it just can't be repaired. It's 19 years old. You know, I mean, it just didn't, it's exceeded its lifespan. So that was the thing with carpeting. I just think that, you know, if we phase this, and next year or 2 years from now, when we go back out and rebid for the items that we didn't do, it's going to be more money. It's going to cost more. It's not going to cost less. It's not going to cost the same. It's going to cost more. So let's do it now. Let's do it right. Let's get it done. Thank you.
Council Ronan, then Council Pelletier. Council Ronan, then Council Pelletier. Sorry, his friend.
Go ahead.
You
You
go
do
first.
it first.
Whatever you want.
Thank you. Mr. President, if this were someone's home and you were making the repairs to your home, the very first thing you do is you decide what your budget was. What you wouldn't do is you wouldn't send out a contractor and let him generate the price. It doesn't work that way. You have a house, you have to take care of it, you have to take care of it within your budget. And that's what we're trying to do here. Later on in tonight's meeting, we're going to come to a matter that we have bonded and borrowed a lot of money on, that we necessarily had to make repairs to our water and sewer system. The problem is we've made so many repairs that our debt service amount on the water and sewer side now would cause the water rates to go up 10.6% next year and the sewer rate to go up 3.9% next year. So to try to avoid that, what we're going to do later on in this meeting, hopefully, is take money that we had set aside for repairs and, as a one-time matter, throw them towards the water and sewer charges so that our increases only go up 3.9 and 3%. But then the year after that, we're going to have to do something because we're carrying that heavy debt service. If you borrow $2 million, you carry that debt service for an awful long time. We're not in the position to add to the amount of money that we're carrying currently in debt service. If this were my house and I had to fix it, I would fix it within my budget. We don't have we can't afford to put a copper roof on and to fix this, this roof for $2 million at this particular time. With respect to the estimates, most of the estimate comes in for brick masonry work. Those of you that sat in on the Administration and Finance Committee meeting can attest that no one could tell you what that brick masonry work was. The front of this building, as everyone knows, is granite. It doesn't have any brick masonry work. It's a four-sided building. The back side of this building has just been done. It's fine. We've just put an addition on, we put the handicap ramp on, we repointed the back of the building, so that leaves two sides. If you walk around the building, as I have, you'll see that the bricks are in excellent shape. I don't know if they're talking about pointing the two sides of the building for $850,000. I don't know. But I do know this: we can't afford to let a contractor tell us that it's an $850,000 job and go ahead and borrow $850,000 just based upon that. I haven't seen any estimates for any brick masonry work, and I'm being asked to just close my eyes and approve the borrowing of $850,000 to do work that I don't even know what it is. I sat in on the committee. I asked the questions. There were no answers. So I think it's a little irresponsible to go ahead and to authorize a bond for $2 million when you don't even know what the principal amount is for. With respect to, if you add up the component parts and you come to $1.2 million for the roof, the skylights, and the windows, that's with a copper roof. And I hate to tell you all, but we can't afford to put a shiny new copper roof that no one can see on top of this building. We make up the difference if we go with a rubber roof, and we have the money to do it if we authorize a bond for $1 million, and we save the taxpayers $1 million. Thank you, Mr. President.
Council Pelletier.
First of all, Council Lovely, I'm sure most of us that went to Salem High spent a lot of time on those tile floors, whether it was fighting or sliding around. I can only imagine what the carpet, after it's been there that long. I wouldn't want to walk on it in shoes, let alone bare feet. Anyway, in regards to my colleagues across the aisle, I'll start with Councilor Sosnowski. His question was, we bond $2 million and it sits somewhere. It doesn't sit anywhere. We don't get the money until we go to pay the bills with bond money, all right? In regards to Councilor Ronan right now, about the brick and all this. This isn't contractors' bids. This is the architect's estimate. Now, they can be higher, they can be lower. We don't know that until we have the money available and we send out the bids. Now, once again, I'm going to say it again. If it doesn't come up to $2 million, then we don't bond for $2 million. But if we have to stop in the middle and do phases, which will cost us twice as much to stage the whole place, all right? Stage it one time, do the roof, point the bricks, do the windows, done. Do it in separate phases, it's just gonna add to the cost. And when you go to pointing, we don't know what's behind the brick, just like the middle school, Collins Middle School. When water gets behind the brickwork and freezes, you have no idea until you pull a brick off what's behind it, including this roof. Once we open up that, I call it a can of worms up there, because I've been in this attic, okay? And I had something for Council Prevey, but he's not here.
Addressed through me anyway, so.
What's that?
You addressed it through me, you don't have to.
I know, but I forgot what it was.
Pick out individual council.
I know, I just forgot what it was. But listen, it's not about spending $1 million. If we need more, go find it. We know we don't have it. So again, I'm gonna go back to what I just said. If we have to do it in phases, we do it all at once. Phases cost more money, all right? I think my colleague in the construction business knows this. You set up staging, you start from the roof, work your way down, pull the staging away, all right? You put up staging, you gotta do the roof, you take it down, you gotta rent it again. Okay, you do the brick, now you gotta rent it again, you gotta, it's ridiculous. And again, these are only estimated numbers. These are not the qualified numbers. Should the numbers, and I think my colleagues should get more involved in the bidding process when this goes out to bid to make sure we get the lowest price, because like Councilor McCarthy said, there's gonna be a lot of businesses out there wanting this business, okay? And they'll be out there lowballing everybody, but we want quality work. We don't want, and I bet you this is the same thing, the debate they were having back in, what, the 80s when they did Salt School in the middle school? On the cheap. Oh, we gotta go with the lowball bidder. Well, look at what we got. We're spending I don't know how many millions today. Are we gonna have to do that? Am I gonna be sitting on the, down the Council of new Council of Agent in a rocking chair and listening that the City Hall needs a new roof? No, we don't need copper. Rubber's fine. But we gotta deal with not only our Historic Commission, but the State Historic Commission. And they're even worse, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm appalled by both of them because they have way too much power. I don't want to be told what kind of roof I can put on my house or what color I can paint my house. I'll move first. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilor McCarthy actually said it right about the staging. All right, stage it once and save all that money. Nobody's disagreeing with that. All right, and as far as that's concerned, but until I can get an answer to the question that was asked that evening, you want us to spend $850,000 to fix the bricks. What's wrong with the bricks? And there was silence in the room. Absolute silence in the room on asking what was wrong with the bricks, the masonry repairs. All right? Until we get an answer to that, we're going to go ahead and do this. Thank you.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bond authorization order is to bond up to a certain amount. We cannot, by putting this amount, if you want to, in simple terms, we put a place card on it. We say we're going to bond up to a certain amount. Then we put it out to bid. The contractors come in, they come in to bid. They have various contractors come in, they look at the roof, they look at the brickwork. Consultants, architectural firms, have come up with their overview of the building envelope. They've come up with these preliminary numbers. So we put an authorization in place to bond up to that amount. When the contractor, no contractor has put a price to this yet. These came from the consultant. The consultants. One consultant firm was done 5 or 6 years ago, and the last one was done because of the Green Communities Act with the Green Initiative. We just had another firm come in. Their two reports came up with almost the same numbers. So the mayor came forth and put this bond authorization in for these numbers. Once these numbers are in place, we put it out to bid. The contractors go through the process. The contractors will be arguing the point, we don't need copper or tin or whatever's up there. We'll go to rubber. And maybe the Historic Commission signs off it. As long as you do a copper cleat around the outside, so be it. They'll come through and they'll look at the masonry. They'll identify the problems. It may come in more, it may come in less. From the estimates from the consultants that have looked at this, this is their consensus of what they feel at this time, what the building envelope needs to be tied together. Once we put an authorization in place, we can put it out to bid, and when it comes out to bid, then we can decide whether or not we can afford to do it. The roof may come in more, it may come in less. We don't know. But until you have the money in place from the best estimates from the people who have looked at this, two separate firms have looked at it at different times and come up with approximately the same numbers, then you can move forward after that. Thank you.
Councilor O'Keefe.
You want to say something? Mr. President.
Yeah.
The councilor, chairman of the Committee on Administration and Finance, come out with the salient points, and I think we've batted this around enough. So let's move on the matter and appropriate the bond order by roll call for $4,022,500. Enough said on this matter.
There's a motion on the floor by Councilor Ronan to cut it $1 million, seconded by Councilor Prevey, so we'd have to vote on that first.
Roll call, Mr. President.
Any further discussion first?
Under discussion?
Wait, further discussion. Councilor Ronan and Councilor Pinto.
Yeah, Mr. President, I just wanted to say, because this goes to some of the arguments. we don't have to approve $2 million in a bond before we send it out to bid. We can send it out to bid, get the bids in, and then decide what it is, and then bond that amount.
You can.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Pinto.
Mr. President, thank you. I was just looking at what we're bonding for, $2 million, and the City Hall masonry is $850. The City Hall windows is $340. The City Hall skylights are $150. The City Hall roof's $660,000. That's $2 million. So we're bonding for $2 million. How many people have had work done in their house where they give you an estimate for the estimate, and that's what it is? All right, how many? None that I know of. So that's what that comes out to, is $2 million. So we're going to bond for $2 million. What happens if it's more than $2 million? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just going to make a statement because this is going to turn into the same boondoggle that 120 Washington did, all right? We're being cheap here to save money, but in the long run, we're paying more over there now than we ever did, okay? So what's going to happen to this building? God forbid. Thank you very much.
Councilor O'Keefe.
On with the show.
I just want to say one thing.
Chair recognizes Councilor Watt for third line. Councilor Lyon, remarks?
Mr. President, this building, this year was, I think, the 175th anniversary of us, the city of Salem being a city, and I believe a couple of years later is when this building opened. And I bet you it's pretty much probably the original roof that's on this building. As far as like, if we need a copper roof or a rubber roof, it's a historic building. We have to, it's an old building, you gotta take care of it. We can't be hypocritical. We can't say, you people in the historic commission, your house, you have to paint it this color, but we can do whatever we want. But my thing is, after seeing the city clerk's office, the vital records, the paintings we have here, this money is going to be used to preserve the envelope, the brickwork, the roof, to stop the water from coming in. As far as Peabody, I believe that most of their money they use for their city hall came from the Community Preservation Act. I don't believe they bonded that much, so they could do what they wanted to do and put it in stages. With us bonding $2 million, we don't have to use all that money, but if we bond $1 million less and go back to bond another $1 million, we could be paying more money because the rates are probably going to go up. I mean, but I think that we need to take care of this building. I mean, the city hall annex, like the city doesn't take care of their buildings, so we need to put money into this building, and we don't have to spend all $2 million. These are just like what the consultant said it's going to cost. We didn't even get the estimates yet. I agree with you. I'd like to see the estimates with the numbers, but I'd rather have the $2 million in the bank in case we need to do this. Thank you, Mr. President.
Hey, Councilor. Hey, Councilor.
All right, we have, yep, we're going to move the question. We have the first, we have a motion by Councilor Ronan to cut $1 million from the bond order, and was seconded by Councilor Prevey.
Roll call, Mr. President.
Councilor O'Keefe asked for a roll call vote. Is three hands, okay. Madam City Clerk, can you call the roll?
Point of clarification, Mr.
Yes.
President, if I may. Did you clarify the vote?
Okay, the motion was to cut $1 million from the bond order, so to cut, go from $4,022,500 to $3,022,500. So a yes vote would be to agree with Council Ronan and cut the $1 million, and a no vote would be to not cut the $1 million. So, you all set?
Thank you.
Okay. Is that, Madam City Clerk?
Counsel Sosnowski?
Yes.
Counsel Sargent?
No.
Counsel Ronan?
Yes.
Counsel Prevey?
Yes.
Counsel Pinto?
Yes.
Counsel Pelletier?
Pelletier?
Absolutely no.
No.
Counsel O'Keefe?
Positively no.
Counsel McCarthy?
No.
Counsel Lovely?
No.
Counsel Fury?
No.
Counsel Ryan?
No. On Council Ronan's amendment to the bond amount to $3,022,500, reduced by $1 million. 11 councilors voting, 4 in the negative, 7 in the 4 in the positive, 7 in the negative. The matter fails. And then
Move to immediate consideration, Mr. President.
Counselor O'Keefe asked for immediate reconsideration. That hopes it does not prevail.
I hope it will not prevail.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed?
Counselor, then those, Counselor O'Keefe had a motion on the floor to accept the bond order.
Yes.
$4,022,500 is a second.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor McCarthy. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Mr. President.
Roll call vote. Madam City Clerk?
Counselor Sosnowski?
No.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ronan?
No.
Counselor Prevey?
No.
Counselor Pinto?
No.
Counselor Pelletier?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes. We just need a simple majority. Clerk?
I believe it's two, what's the city clerk check? I think it's a bond or it's 2/3, so. Let's wait until the city clerk.
Needs 8 votes.
8 votes, Mr. President, according to the city clerk. 8 votes. So the matter fails, is your ruling?
Yeah, let me read it. First passage bond order in the amount of $4,022,500. 11 councilors voting, 7 in the affirmative, 4 in the negative. The matter fails because you need a
Mr. President,
supermajority.
I ask for reconsideration. I hope one of my colleagues will come to their senses and vote.
Councilor Pelletier asked for immediate reconsideration. Councilor,
Would be presenting.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It rules the whole thing, right?
We all set, Council?
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you. Just for everyone's clarification, I mean, I know the discussion went back and forth about the amount with regard to the city hall. On the sheet that is in front of everyone's desk, there's also a bunch of other issues that we will not be bonding for, and I'll just run through them real quick. The parking study recommendation for new smart meters, 4 police cars, 1 F-550-ton pickup truck, infrastructure, road, sidewalks, crosswalks, infrastructure, Collin Cove seawall, Parks and Rec Commission F-350 pickup, schools, 42-passenger wheel bus, schools, 77-passenger conventional bus, and sewer infrastructure, specifically with regards to Forester Street relief drain. So, just so for everyone's clarification, if the vote stays the same, these matters won't be acted upon at this time, and none of these matters will be taken up. Thank you.
Councilor O'Keefe, then Councilor Sosnowski.
No one has moved for immediate reconsideration,
You did
correct?
move. You moved.
On this one?
I believe so.
I don't believe I did on this
I
one.
move,
No, Councilor Pelletier did.
I move for immediate reconsideration already.
How did you rule?
Well, Councilor Pelletier moved for immediate reconsideration. All those in favor of reconsideration? So we have 1, 2, 3.
Under discussion,
All
Mr.
those opposed?
Under discussion,
Okay, we can reconsider it because it's a majority. So.
Sure.
Councilor Sosnowski.
my understanding is with the reduced amount, we could vote for the new bond order at $3,022,000. Is that correct? $3,022,500?
That failed.
What? At the original amount, it failed.
No.
3 million.
No, $1 million cut failed.
Can't be reconsidered.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion, Councilor Pelletier.
Well, I just want to drive home a point that Councilor McCarthy just brought up. The Ward 2 and 5 councilors, they have some stake in this bond bill and within their wards. And they're voting against it. I can't figure it out.
Councilor Ronan.
I wonder if it's possible to separate the issues, because essentially what this bond is for, this $4,022,500 is $2 million was for the envelope of City Hall, which is where we had the disagreement, and with respect to the $2,022,500, we're all in agreement. So I suppose there are several things that could happen. a new bond order could be presented to us at the next city council meeting.
Yeah, it would have to be submitted.
It would have to be resubmitted next session. So in 2 weeks, the new bond order can be resubmitted. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any further discussion?
On my reconsideration, I ask for another roll call vote.
Okay, another roll call vote. I see 3 hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Madam City Clerk, can you please call the roll again?
I have no idea.
Just to be crystal clear, yes approves the as is 4,022,000.
This is the same vote we just took for first passage bond order in the amount of $4,022,500. We're reconsidering the vote. That's what we're doing by roll call vote. So we're taking the same vote again. So yes would be, you'd be for the $4,022,500. A no would be you're against it. Council Sosnowski.
Just for a point of clarification, I didn't hear the answer as to when a new bond could be submitted. What is the timeline on submitting a new bond request?
Madam City Clerk.
The next meeting?
At the next meeting, 2 weeks from now?
Whenever.
Councilor McCarthy.
For clarification on that as well, Mr. President, if we submit a new bond order at our next meeting, a bond order requires 2 passages. Therefore, the second passage wouldn't be taken up until which will be coming up later, our 1 meeting in July. And therefore, after those bonds, then at that point is when the bids could go out specifically with regards to street repairs and stuff. And I know 2 weeks ago, when we originally wanted to bond for just that aspect of the plan for the emergency repairs to the pedestrian mall, sidewalk repairs, and the paving program, so we put all 3 of those out to bid. Everybody in the committee agreed to the time-sensitive nature of those matters, so I just want to let everyone's clarification. This is kind of time-sensitive if you want these projects to move forward in a timely manner to get them done before the end of the summer. Thank you.
Councilor Keith.
Mr. President, so we all understand, that's gotta come, the bond order request gotta come from the mayor. The next time around, it's gotta go back, not from the council, not from the finance committee, from the mayor.
That's
So,
correct.
why don't we act on it again tonight? $4,222,500.
Okay, any further discussion?
Move the question.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Sosnowski?
Yes.
Council Sergeant?
Yes.
Council Ronan?
No.
Council Prevey?
Yes.
Council Pinto?
No.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
Council O'Keefe?
Yes.
Council McCarthy?
Yes.
Council Lovely?
Yes.
Council Fury?
Yes.
Council Ryan?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, on the reconsideration of first passage of the bond amount in the amount of $4,022,500, 11 councilors voting, 9 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative. The matter carries.
Mr. President, I move for immediate reconsideration. Hope will not prevail.
Councilor.
Just had reconsideration.
We're reconsidering the
Again, yeah.
reconsideration. I don't know.
Councilor O'Keefe asked for reconsideration. The hope does not prevail. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Mr. President, personal privilege, I just want to thank my colleagues who voted the second time. I think it was very well thought out, and I hope we can continue on like this. Thank you.
Mayor's informational page.
Thank you, yeah.
None. Motions, orders, and resolution. Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, June 9th, 2011, ordered that the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet with the new City Council budget analyst for a presentation on his overview and analysis of the fiscal year 2012 budget, and that this meeting take place on Tuesday, June 14th, 2011 at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Under discussion.
On discussion, Mr. President, I had a conversation with the budget analyst, and he has been working diligently reviewing past budgets, fiscal trends, where we are, and he would like to come in and have an overview with the whole council, and we picked a mutually agreeable date, so that's next Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Council McCarthy. So meeting will be next Tuesday, the 14th at 6 p.m. in the council chambers.
Correct.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Pelletier.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I was reading what I just wrote.
Welcome back.
City of Salem in the year 2011, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, chapter 42, section 50B, handicap zone, limited time, be it ordained by the city council of the city of Salem as follows. Section 1, Ocean Avenue West, in front of number 139 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect by as provided by the city charter.
Under discussion?
Yeah, this is a neighbor close to me, both husband and wife have some health issues, and Lieutenant Pazuski okayed this, so I'm okay with it too.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Saltowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2011, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones, limited time. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Essex Street, in front of number 58, for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Thank you. Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Basically, it's the same situation. There's a woman here at that particular address that qualifies for a handicap spot. Lieutenant Pazuski reviewed the situation and made the recommendation, and I'm following through with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Saltowski. Any further discussion? Adoption for first passage. All those in favor? Opposed? Carries. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the year 2011, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones, limited time, be it ordained by the City Council of Salem as follows. Section 1, Irving Street, in front of number 3 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Thank you. Under discussion?
Just very briefly, a resident here had wanted to have a handicap parking just because parking has become much more difficult on Irving Street where the particular resident lives. And I want to thank Councilor Lovely. Actually, she ended up talking to the resident as well and helped facilitate this as well. So I appreciate her efforts in this. So I'd ask for support of this. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of adoption first passage? Opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and the City Council, June 9, 2011, a resolution. Whereas lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people across the country and the world are celebrating and commemorating the community's history of activism, diversity, courage, and achievement in the struggle for equality. And whereas June has been historically and civically been designated Gay Pride Month since President Clinton first declared it in June 2000, and since then President Obama, based upon the landmark events of the June 1969 New York City Stonewall riots. Whereas Salem has long been a community of diversity, tolerance, and acceptance with many diverse groups, in particular the LGBT community. And whereas LGBT residents of Salem have made valuable contributions in areas of business, the arts, volunteerism, private and public leadership, civil rights, medicine, and education, and continue to make visible contributions to many other areas of life. And whereas the LGBT community, nation, and worldwide will be celebrating in cities small and large throughout the month of June the history of achievement and the recognition and appreciation of their lives, their work, and their families, all in the fight for greater equality. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Salem, does hereby recognize the diverse fabric of Salem, of which the LGBT community is a part, and does hereby acknowledge the many contributions of the LGBT community in Salem, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the United States of America, and encourages all people to share in the pride of Salem's LGBT residents.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very proud to stand here and bring this in. June, historically, since the Stonewall riots in 1969, has been celebrated by the gay community, of which I'm a member, across the United States and across the world, in terms of the struggle for equality, for acceptance, for our rights. And I certainly want to join my brothers and sisters in that community to acknowledge the fact that Salem has been a wonderful community in which it has embraced so much diversity in the gay community, being part of it. So I participated in parades in different cities throughout the United States. They will be going on throughout the month of June. And I know many Salem residents will be participating in those celebrations as well. I know Boston has a big parade, and they have a lot of events throughout the month of June. So we have a lot of changing times throughout the United States. Our culture has advanced to the point we recognize the rights of gay and lesbian citizens throughout the United States, and I appreciate and look forward to the support of my colleagues in this resolution. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Council Creevy. Any further discussion? Councilor O'Keefe.
I'd like to sign the order too, because I have the same, in my situation, my family, I have the same kind of a person. And I really appreciate him bringing in this kind of order. My daughter would be very proud of me if I signed this particular order. And she lives in Boston, but I consider it, she lives in Salem, but I think it's wonderful. And I support it wholeheartedly. Their efforts. In fact, I monthly contribute to them.
Thank you, Councilor O'Keefe. Councilor Sosnowski and then Councilor Ronan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I may be wrong, but I think 1 minute after the law became state law, I think we had the first gay marriage here in Salem, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we did. And it just goes to the Salem's the leader in a lot of different things. Thank you.
Councilor Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President. Salem is a welcoming community, and we welcome all, and we strive for equality of all, whether they be straight, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, and I commend my brother for bringing this forward. The Stonewall riots, they're called, occurred in June of 1969 in New York. Essentially, there was a pattern of abuse and harassment at the time by the New York police. The crime simply being that people were openly homosexual, so they were preyed upon at that time by the police department. Patrons at the Stonewall Inn stood up and they rioted, and as a result of that came the gay pride movement back in 1969. As my brother points out, it was in 2000 that President Clinton first recognized June, because that's the month of the Stonewall riots, as Gay Pride Month. President Obama has done the same thing, and I thank my brother for bringing it in here to Salem. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay. All those, should we vote on the resolution? All those in favor? Opposed? Resolution carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor O'Keefe. City Council, June 9, 2011, ordered that the regular meetings of the City Council for the months of July and August be combined and held on Thursday, July 14, 2011.
All in favor of acceptance of the report? Opposed, or what is remarks, Councilor?
No remarks. This is moving. We do this every year. We combine the meetings for July and August into one meeting. Hopefully, we don't have to have another meeting in August. Hopefully, we can make it go to September, but we'll see how that works.
Any remarks? Any further remarks? All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Councilor Ryan, wish to reclaim?
Yes, I'd like to take it back. Thank you. Any further motions, orders, and resolutions? Councilor Sosnowski? Oh, Councilor Pelletier. Councilor Pelletier. Sorry.
One more. I'll write it after. City of Salem and the City Council, 6/9/2011, ordered. In the regards to the pilot and silent programs for nonprofits within the city, we ask that the mayor's administration ask Salem State University, Partners Healthcare, doing business at Salem Hospital, and the PBS Museum, as well as any other nonprofits who are in these programs, to make a one-time cash donation for the purchase of a new aerial ladder fire truck for the Salem Fire Department, and report back to the City Council before August. That's what I gotta add. On the discussion?
Discussion, Council Pelletier?
Well, it pretty much says it all. We've been bantering around. Now, we know our one ladder truck, well, one's particularly engine, ladder 2 is junk. We can't use it. But driving around for parades, like Joe's got one of the, Council O'Keefe's got one of those trucks.
You can have mine.
But we seriously need a new ladder truck, all right? Now, if you look at what Salem State College built in their dorms down there, I mean, the amount of space and buildings Salem State takes up, I think they should have their own fire department, but that's another story. But yet, in the Salem Hospital, how many runs do we make up there with the helicopters? I think it's all fair in the museum. These are all big buildings. I think it's time to ask them, not for free passes to the museum or a small, maybe, what do you call it? Some small donations. It's time to get cracking on this. I'm gonna put this to the mayor. I'll put it on paper now, and I'll put it to her when I see her. But I think it's a great idea. You know, they get away pretty much these nonprofits. All right. I'll tell you a quick little story as far as nonprofits. In regards to the flooding over in my buddy from Ward 5, we had a meeting with the city engineer and a couple of people from the Salem State, and we talked about building a big cistern under the O'Keefe parking lot, you know, to retain some of the water that runs off all the fields that they created. Well, this one woman, I won't say her name, she asked, well, why can't the businesses on Canal Street contribute? I said, well, they do, they pay taxes. She didn't say a word. So anyway, I think this is a good thing. I think the mayor should stick her neck out there and with our support. Because if one of these big buildings at the college go up, the students are in trouble, everybody's in trouble. Thank you.
Council Pelletier, any further discussion? Council Fieri and Council McCarthy?
It's not on the agenda, we can't just debate this.
Can't debate. It's gotta go to committee.
All right, so,
It's not on the agenda.
so do we have to move it to committee?
As
Can we
much as
vote
I
on
would
it?
like, to debate it, it's not in
We
front
need
of
to
us.
move that to a committee?
That's why I didn't put it on the agenda.
Yeah. You need to move it, Council Pelletier, it needs to go to a committee.
Committee of the whole.
You want to move it to the committee of the whole? Council Pelletier wants his motion to go to the committee of the whole.
Go ahead and put it on my
Council Fieri, it wasn't on the agenda, so we can't discuss it.
On your committee?
No.
All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, June 9, 2011, ordered that the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss the position of Harbor Master and that the following be invited: the Chief of Police or his representative, the Mayor or her representative, the Finance Director, the Acting Harbor Master or his representative, and the Human Resources Director.
Council Sosnowski, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, we have, you'll even notice in your individual budget books, a statement from the Police Department and also a statement from the Harbor Master's Department that's stating that this position is being posted for a replacement to a civilian. That's in direct violation of one of our ordinances, and I want to find out what's going on. And rather than talk about it here on the floor, all right, there's a bunch of issues that are involved here, and when we get it to committee, I'd like to hash it out there and see where it's going, because there's a lot of things that are dependent upon there being a police person there. For example, in the budget for the police side, we have a special grant coming in because of a deep water port, and we have that grant because we have a police officer in charge. I don't want to lose that grant. All right, so I want to talk about it, see where it goes, and see what we can do to see which way it's going. All right, and see where we go from there.
Do you want it to go to the committee of the whole also?
No. Public Health, Safety, and Environment, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Okay, on Councilor Sosnowski's motion to move that, there's no discussion because it wasn't on the agenda. We can only move it in the committee, you can discuss it there. So to move it to Public Health, Safety, and Environment and co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, all those in favor? Opposed? Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, the City Council, June 9, 2011, ordered that the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment meet to discuss the variety of quality of life issues which have created problems for several abutting residents in the Franklin Street, Franklin Court, and Foster Street area, and that the committee invite the abutting neighbors, the building inspector, the health agent, the police chief or his representative, the city solicitor, and owners of the abutting businesses.
Under discussion?
Briefly, Mr. President, since I became the ward councilor I was elected back in 2005 and sworn in 2006, there's been an ongoing issue with several of the businesses that are done on Franklin Street. And in back, there's a homeowner on Franklin Court, and then you have the other residents there on Foster Street. And it's such a close area between the residences and the businesses there. And there's been violations, there's been all kinds of problems regarding parking and offensive noises, people working late at night beyond 11 o'clock, which is, in violation of city ordinance. There's issues regarding noise and such. And this has been an ongoing struggle. I had a meeting probably about 18 months ago, got those folks together in an informal meeting. Jason Silva from the mayor's office participated, and we tried to come up with some type of strategy, but things just really have not been effective in terms of addressing some of these issues. So my hope is, in a more formal context of having it in a committee meeting, bring everyone in, bring the business owners in, the ones that are obviously willing to attend and sit down and address these things. Look at the zoning issues, look at what the regulations are regarding some maybe health code violations, parking issues, and see what we can resolve. One of the things I've said before, and I know other folks have said it on the floor of the council before, is that just for the sheer size of Salem, we have so many residences and residential neighborhoods that are so close in proximity to many businesses and business areas and districts that a lot of times we try to deal with these issues as best as possible. So, and it creates a lot of friction and a lot of problems. Obviously, it goes back to quality of life. Businesses we need, obviously, we want them to thrive in Salem, but we also want them to comply with laws and respect the fact that they end up existing in residential areas. So it's a very difficult balance, but I'm trying to get my arms around this particular situation, and I know there's other ones in the throughout the city too. So hopefully, by getting all the interested parties involved, we can start to kind of sort through some of this stuff and see if there's some more permanent solution going forward.
So you want that to go public health, safety, environment. Do you want to co-post that in case other councilors?
If other councilors certainly want to join in on the discussion, absolutely. I'll make a motion to have it co-posted, certainly. Thank you.
Councilor Prevy's motion. All those in favor? Opposed?
Co-posted?
Co-posted with committee whole. Yep. Further motions, orders, and resolutions? Seeing none. Committee reports? Councilor Lovely?
Salem City Council, June 9, 2001. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter of granting certain licenses, has considered said matter, would recommend approval. Public guides and tag days.
Okay. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
No discussion, Mr. President.
No discussion? Okay. On all those in favor? Opposed?
Mind if I just stay standing?
Okay.
I've got a
fine.
few. Thank you.
Councilor Lovely?
City of Salem City Council, June 9, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter of a hearing request by William Timothy Keene on the denial of his taxi operator license, has considered said matter and would recommend approval.
Okay. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Just quickly under discussion, Mr. President, we actually met in executive session, so I really can't share the details of that session, but after listening to the testimony of Mr. Keene together with Officer Page from the Police Department, it was the committee's recommendation to approve his taxi operator license.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Further committee reports. Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, June 9, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter of a hearing request by Elliot Eflin on the denial of his taxi operator license, has considered said matter and would recommend denial.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. This too was done in executive session, and I can't share the details, but upon the testimony of Mr. Eflin, together with Officer Page, it was the committee's recommendation to deny his his application for taxi operator license.
Any further discussion? None being, all those in favor? Opposed? Further committee reports. Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, June 9, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of an ordinance amending Chapter 2 Licensing Board Clerk and Duties of Solicitor, has considered said matter and would recommend approval.
Okay, on acceptance report, all those in favor? Opposed? Adoption of the recommendation. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This actually was referred to committee a couple of months ago by at the request of the administration. There's been some issues with the licensing board. We actually had our solicitor and the chair of the licensing board, former Chief St. Pierre, in this evening to discuss why we should approve that the licensing board and clerk, the license board clerk, should now come under the solicitor's department. There was actually very good discussion about it. The solicitor said that actually the move's already been made. That the licensing board clerk is over here in City Hall, shares an adjacent office with the solicitor, and they are working together on certain matters. And one of the things that Chief St. Pierre said, that is a lot of matters that come before the licensing board are of a legal nature. In fact, majority of them. His testimony was that it's a 3-member board, none of whom are lawyers. They are faced, he said, more than 50% of the time with applicants who come in with legal counsel. And they feel that they don't have enough of a legal background to be able to sometimes be voting on issues or discussing certain issues, and all 3 members of the licensing board support having the clerk come over under the auspices of the solicitor's office because of the legal nature of how often they have to entail with statutes, codes, the ordinance, etc. So it was the committee's recommendation on a 3-1 vote, actually 1 member being absent, 1 opposed, and 3 in favor, to make this favorable recommendation to the full City Council to allow this to happen. And for those reasons, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Lovely. Any further discussion? Councilor Fury, then Councilor Sosnowski.
I think we're very fortunate to have the caliber, Mr. Rick Lee, Mr. Casey, former Chief St. Pierre, to be on that licensing board. But this is the 21st century. They're part-time citizen coaches. They bring a wealth of experience and portfolio to that licensing board, immense amount of hours and time. But I think this recommendation by Councilor Lovely's committee is a positive one, proactive, legal, will make it more positive. Because many of the people that come before that board have lawyers. They come in with their briefcases and three-piece suits and everything else. It's an overwhelming situation to be on that board. We're very lucky to have the caliber of those 3 people. But I think we need to give them the extra strength of legal expertise. Thank you, Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Councilor Fury. Councilor Sosnowski.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I was the person that voted against this, and I will continue to vote against this. My rationale very simply is this. There's a consolidation of effort here going on that I am opposed to. All right? Too many things being considered, too many things being consolidated, too many individuals having ultimate spread over areas they don't even think about. Does the licensing clerk need to have legal advice? Absolutely. Has she made a few mistakes along the way? Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? What really bothers me about this entire thing is that in the past, her position was a paid position, and she was overseen by the building inspector, who's not a lawyer, but overseen by him, and the building inspector was not paid an additional fee to oversee. Here we have somebody coming back in who is now going to be underneath the oversight of the legal department, the city solicitor, and it's going to cost us in the area of $870 some odd a month. I think the number was $10,000 a year, additional. Here we are, we're talking about saving money, and yet we're doing things that we don't have to do. As far as legal concerns are there, Yeah, would it be good for her to have legal opinion beside her as she's opposing everybody that comes before her that also has counsel with them? Yeah, I would agree with that. But for the most part, I don't think you're going to see the solicitor sitting at the licensing board meeting. So what would be the difference? Why doesn't she just put it off, get an opinion from the solicitor, and then review it 2 weeks later at the next meeting? And we save $10,000 along the way. All right? I am opposed to this because there have been other things. Over the past few years, we've been combining a lot of things and putting them all together in the consolidation pieces here. I've been giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I'm not very satisfied with the end result now that we have had a lot of these consolidations. A couple of years have come by, a couple of years have gone by, and I don't like the end result of what's going on. And it's time to stop. Thank you.
Council Lovely, will the city solicitor be required to attend all the licensing board meetings like the Tom St. Pierre did with the zoning?
Well, Tom St. Pierre didn't attend all the licensing board meetings.
But he does with the zoning board.
I understand, but Tom St. Pierre oversaw the licensing board. He didn't attend any meetings. It's not under the same, the same type of thing. What's that? I understand. He attends the zoning board, but we're not talking about zoning board. We're talking about licensing board. He oversaw as in charge of inspectional services. He oversaw the licensing board. He never attended one of those. So if he didn't attend any of them, the solicitor wouldn't be attending any of them. It's the same thing. As far as the $10,000, just so that you brought it up, I believe I was just looking to see when that was voted on. That's already been voted on by this body.
Yes, it has.
So it's kind of putting the cart was before the horse, if so to speak. I'm not sure if I was at that meeting or if that's the one I was out for my DAC, but that's already been voted upon. Thank you.
Council Stolichnowski.
Budget's yet to be approved.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of Councilor Lovely's recommendation? All those opposed?
Opposed.
Matter carried.
One more.
Yep, Councilor Lovely.
One more, Mr. President. Let me just make sure. I'm gonna skip on it. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to be following the agenda. City of Salem, City Council, June 9, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of amending an ordinance relative to the compensation of school committee, has considered said matter and would recommend to raise the compensation by $500 per year and review every other year, and that the city solicitor submit a draft ordinance.
Okay, on acceptance report, all those in favor, opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, everyone has a copy of the draft ordinance on their desk. I passed it out before the meeting began. So we held you may recall that this matter was actually referred into the Administration and Finance Committee. Do you have one?
I don't have a copy.
I may not have given you one, Mr. President. Hang on. You got it? Okay. Here's one for the clerk. Administration and Finance met on this matter several weeks ago, and the recommendation out of that committee was to refer it to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs to rewrite the ordinance. And I believe a recommendation of 6% tied to the mayor's salary, or $6,000, was actually recommended out of that committee. The committee then, this committee then took a look at that, had members of the school committee come in. We discussed it in a respectful fashion last week, and the recommendation was to raise the compensation by $500 per year, from $2,500 to $3,000 a year. Our surrounding sister communities, Peabody and Beverly, I think Beverly's is $3,800 and Peabody is $4,000, something like that. So it's in around with keeping with what the compensation is for our sister communities nearby. The school committee has not seen an adjustment in their compensation in 21 years. 21 years, almost 22 years, and that's a shame, actually. I don't know why that's so. I don't know why this year it came up, and in all the 22 previous years it didn't come up, but it didn't, and we're addressing it this year. So the committee wanted to make sure that that this didn't happen again. So we put in a provision that every other year when the mayor's salary is reviewed, that the school committee's salary be reviewed as well. The committee did not recommend tying this to the mayor's salary. We thought that that required much more deeper review, probably put together a committee, not of just city councilors, but of school committee members, general residents, just to take a look at perhaps going in that direction. But we just thought that that was a much deeper review for just the city council, that other members of the community should be involved in that, just not city council members. And a couple of things of not raising it more than the $500. The $500 raise is a 20% raise. We thought that was fairly generous for this year. And again, in keeping with reviewing it every 2 years. There's, with regard to pensions, there's a Mass General Law, and I'm going to see if I can find it on my desk, that went into effect on July 1st, 2009, and it says that essentially that if an municipal employee or elected official in a position receiving compensation, if it grows above $5,000, that triggers pension. So we felt that this school committee is like a paid board, and that should not trigger pension benefits. So from the recommendation out of A&F, if that had been recommended by this committee, that would have triggered pension benefits for school committee members. We didn't believe that we should do that. Also, school committee members are eligible for health insurance, but that has to be voted by this body. We didn't feel at this time that should warrant health benefits as well, especially given that health benefits for a family plan, I think, is $17,000 or $18,000 a year. Individuals, I'm not quite sure what it is, 10 or 11. And we didn't feel that we should be voting on that as well at this point. So the recommendation coming out of committee is to increase school committee's raise by 20%, which is $500 per year, to $3,000, which is almost in line with our sister communities, and to take a look at it every other year and to adjust up accordingly until we are in line with our sister communities. And that's the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Lovely. Councilor Ronan, then Councilor Fieri.
Yes, Mr. President, I'm going to be voting against this this measure tonight, and the reason for that is I've sat on the Administration and Finance Committee, and I've gone through all of the budget. I've read through the entire budget at this point in time and gone through most of the hearings. It became apparent from the very start that we are at the absolute maximum tax levy limit. Our budget's going from $127 million last year to about $131 million this year. Unless we make some change, the real estate tax bill in Salem is the average real estate tax bill in Salem is going to go up 3.98%. People say, how can that happen? You know, Proposition 2.5, I thought it could only go 2.5%. That's 2.5% over the maximum tax levy limit of the year before. So effectively, we're going to see a real increase of almost 4%. So I drew a line in the sand with the very first department that came in, and I said, I'm not going to vote for any increase this year, not where we're going to send the bill to the taxpayer. I'm not going to vote for any increase for any department more than 2.5%. That's my line in the sand. So when each department comes forward, and you know, this is a good department to say, wait a minute, we're underpaid. I understand they're underpaid. I understand that this position is really stipend. It's just a small amount to show some recognition for the work that they do. It's not to pay them hourly for what they do. It's not certainly enough. But I'm not going to vote for anyone receiving any raise above 2.5% this year, because it's just resulting in the taxes, you know, skyrocketing in Salem. Thanks, Mr. President.
Councilor Lovely, and then I'll get back to
Mr. President,
Councilor Fieri.
just the good Ward 5 councilor, I was actually at that meeting with A&F, and I recall that you actually recommended 7% raise. So now you're saying you're not going to recommend any raise. Is that correct?
That's
Just want to
correct.
make sure, because you did say at that meeting
6%.
6%. Okay, 6%. And you actually asked, you still want it at Christmas time? It'd make a great Christmas present. So you did say that. I know that's on the record. Now you're going back and saying nothing. That's fine. I just want to make sure the record's clear.
Councilor Fury.
I truly respect Councilor Lovely's hard work as chairperson of the committee and Councilor Ronan's concern about going above the 2.5 situation. But I would like to make a small change to number 2, section 1 to number 2, deleting the compensation of $2,500 and replacing it with $3,000. I would like to replace it with $4,500 if I may. Under discussion?
Under
It's an
discussion.
amendment. It's an amendment.
You can't,
So you're making an amendment,
Make
Mr.
an
President?
Make an amendment?
Yes.
Will the chair accept that for the committee?
No.
No, she will not accept that.
Well, no, I wouldn't accept it. It would have to be voted on separately.
Okay.
Be voted on separately.
He's the president, he rules,
Under
not me.
discussion?
Under discussion.
Please, thank you. Public service is a form of patriotism. I served on the school committee for 12 years, and I know what it's like to serve on the school committee. Ever since the Educational Reform Act, it's much more detailed, policy-oriented, and they're in the selection process of a superintendent of schools. It's very time-consuming. Only one person now has taken out his or her nomination papers to run for school committee. So we'll have a very limited election if it goes right now. And one of the members of the school committee is running now for council at large, which I am council at large. So there may be a couple changes there. We need to, elective office on all levels require considerable time. Good government deserves activism and participation. Serious issues like education deserves serious attention and incentives. We are very fortunate to have the caliber and commitment of the members of the school committee. We have an opportunity tonight to correct an injustice, which I was part of that school committee way back when. Their stipend has not been increased for over 18 years. They are a tenacious, talented team of players, overseeing the largest part of our budget. They are the elected champions of our schools, and I'd like to see it go up to $4,500, which would not trigger retirement benefits or any other benefits thereof. Under the threshold, as Councilor Lovely did a research ably, $4,500 would be a compromise, I believe. And I would like to request the members of the City Council to address that concern, that injustice that's been done over the years. $4,500 is a small drop in the bucket of the passing. In fact, I'll conclude.
Councilor O'Keefe, can you take the floor?
No, I pass.
Can you take, so I
Oh,
can now?
yes, sir.
what about the rest of us?
Councilor Lyon,
I agree. I sat at that finance meeting. I kind of agree with Councilor Fury on the $4,500, because if you think about, we're sitting here, we're hypocrites. We're getting $10,000. We could get health insurance. That brings even more. They don't even have access to health insurance. In Beverly and Peabody, they have access. They can take health insurance. 22 years, they haven't had a raise. There's no one running. We can probably, if Kevin Carr wins a council at large seat, there's another spot we have to put somebody in. I just think it's very hypocritical of us to like say, I mean, we make our own salaries, so I mean, we can't help it, but I mean, in the finance committee, they recommended 6%. They were only looking, I think they originally wanted like 2/3 of what we got, which I don't think they should get that much, because I believe we do a lot more work. And when I took this job as a counselor, I didn't do it for the money, but it helps me stay in this job. I don't take the health insurance, but if I had to take it, I would take it. It's there, it's offered, and I don't begrudge anyone for taking it. But I mean, these people who serve in the school committee, it's a whole different ballgame than it was years ago when my father and Councilor O'Keefe served on the school committee, and people had a lot more power. And now it's hard to get people. I think we're gonna have a hard time getting people to run for this position, because they want to contribute to the city, but they need to be compensated. I mean, even that's not a lot of money. I mean, I kind of agree with Councilor Ferrier that they should get at least $4,500. I don't agree that they should hit the pension benefits, which if we keep it under $5,000, and the health insurance. But I mean, it's been 22 years. That's 22 years, $500, that's nothing. Councilor Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm the one that made that motion in committee, only because in the discussion, it was going to be 150, 160% raise. And in these times, it makes us look ridiculous. And when I proposed that, I looked over to the few committee members that were here, and the look on their faces like all their pets died, like I was insulting them. But I reminded them, a couple of years back, council pay was reduced by $2,000. Okay? We accepted that cut. We'll never get it back. I don't care. I didn't take this job for the money either. I don't think anybody does. You know? But they say they have more work than us. We could banter all night on that. But I think it's fiscally prudent that we start small. Council Lovely did a good job by putting in that it'd be reviewed every second year, which is fine with me. All right? They knew the cost going in. They knew what they were gonna get paid. I totally agree with you, Mr. President. It's worth more money. This job's worth more money, okay? But we're not asking. We do it because we love it. Or we hate it. But just the mere fact, they'll at least now on paper, they'll be able to get a gradual increase every couple of years. Maybe that'll, you know, I don't think jumping up that high is the thing to do here. And out of respect for the Administrative Finance Committee, I'd like to tell them that what we learned that night, the raise that they wanted was already in the budget. So the school committee's budget has the raise for $5,000, I think, $5,000 for them to go up, the raise, to go up from 25 to 5,000. And it's already in the school budget.
Councilor McCarthy, then Councilor Baker.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Sorry.
Pretty much what it was.
The recommendation that came out of the Committee on Administration and Finance did include that language, and it did include that number. But also with that recommendation was a caveat that, because at that point, we knew it had to be an ordinance change, and everybody's opinion was no way did anyone want any sort of additional compensation for those positions to trigger health care or pension. So I commend Council Lovely and her committee on the work they've done. And with regard to my colleague to the right's statements, if he'd attended a few budget meetings on the school department, he would have known that probably about 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, because that came up in the first budget. It actually have a section of the budget that actually that has the school committee in it, because when I reviewed their budget from last year, their names aren't in the budget because they are compensated. When you flip through our budget, you see all of our names listed with the amount. They're not listed. They were listed in the line item that appeared under the central office. All that being said, I don't know what the will of the body is going to be. None of us, as was stated earlier, do this do this for the money. Sometimes I wonder, but I think that, you know, I see my good colleague over here. I wish I had my calculator with me. He's trying to do a percentage increase per year for the last 20 years, and I knew if I had my calculator, I could press one button and it would give me the answer. But all that being said, I'll yield to the will of, there you go. I'll yield to the will of the body on this one, and I believe they need to be compensated so much more, a little bit more. What that number finally ends up being, I'm not really sure, but I'll wait to see the further discussion.
Council Pinto. Council Pinto.
Mr. President, thank you. I was at the meeting. I'm not a member of COLA, but I was at the meeting when Council Lovely chaired and they had the discussion, and there was a few school committee members here. These people are elected officials like us. They have to go out and they have to earn people's respect and get their vote and then do the job. The school budget, as all of us know, is more than the regular city budget that we handle. And many of us have children that are in school, and these are the people, this is the school committee, these are the people that control what goes on in the school. I feel personally that they're underpaid, and I also feel that giving them $500 it's a pittance. It just doesn't, it comes out to 20%, but for 22 years, these people have worked for the same amount of money. These are qualified people. These are people that are elected. They're not appointed by, and they're not on a board. They're a school committee that are elected by the taxpayers. They do a good job. I've attended several school committee meetings. The budget is more than the city side budget. I just think that it's hard to justify giving anyone a raise in this economy. And as my Ward 5 councilor has said, I've sat the budget meetings with the 2.5%. We've had some people that were proposed for more, but we've towed the line at 2.5%. I look at this as long overdue. When I see people that serve and put in the time, and these people, and the schools, Council President Ryan is right, the schools now aren't what they were 10, 15 years ago. There's so much more involved, just like the city. We've grown. The budget's gone up every year. It's grown. So I am in favor of giving them more money. What that number's going to be, I don't know. I think $500 is not enough. I like the fact that we are going to look at it every other year, and it's a shame that it hasn't been looked at every other year for so long. So I will yield the floor, Mr. President. Thank you.
Council Prevey and then Council Sosnowski, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm certainly in agreement that the school committee should be receiving a raise in terms of compensation. You know, part of the problem is the general public and taxpayers look at this, and no one ever has an appetite for this. Whether we're talking about a raise for the mayor, because we went through this before a few years ago when we gave the mayor a raise, and you know, we had constituents that reached out to us. We had the general public that had their opinions about what the mayor should get, and about just essentially raising up the mayor's salary. I think a lot of times, just because of folks in public service, I think people just think somehow that people should just get into public service and do it completely for free. That might be the case. Some people think that they should do it for free. There's other considerations. I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices that people do give up, and they give it up for the right reasons. They do it because they want to be in public service and give back to their communities and serve the public and serve their neighbors, essentially, in that sense. The monetary compensation that comes along with it, perhaps it helps to soften that, essentially, the sacrifices that go along with that. And with the school committee members that do work hard, they do work hard. For the folks that don't put in the time or whatever, then they, like us, they should be voted out of office then. That shouldn't be the issue, whether they deserve it or not, or a particular individual deserves it or not. The office itself should have something which is higher than that, than what they're currently compensated for. So having gone through the debate regarding the mayor's raise, and knowing kind of the difficulty with regards to the public having the appetite essentially for going along with a so-called raise, it is very difficult, but it ends up being, I think, the right thing to do for not necessarily just the current office holders, but for anyone else who runs down the road. I think it's been said already, none of us run for the money at all. We run for hopefully the right reasons, and the money's just part of the package. So I certainly support that. As to what that amount should be, like other folks, is it 500? Is it 1,000 more? That could be debated all night. What's right, what's wrong on that? So I think that's going to be the tough issue here. Thank you.
Hey, Council Sosnowski, sorry about that.
Thank you,
I knew
Mr.
you
President.
were the first one, buddy.
Yeah, my hand was up quite early. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to clarify a few points here, first of all, as far as nobody running or only one person taking out papers. I talked to those people that had not taken out papers yet, and they told me, hey, we have until such and such a date to do that, and don't worry about it. Yes, I'm taking out papers. So I'm not really too concerned about it from that point of view. What I am concerned about is I have an overwhelming number of emails, phone calls, friends that come up to me, friends that I met just last night, not just met last night, but saw again just last night, who are telling me, stick to your guns and say no, because I said no to the $500 thing. Well, I didn't like the $500 thing because, quite honestly, that's an insult. All right? It's just not there. I got to tell you, on the city side of the budget, I'm going to be very much with my good buddy here, my good friend, fellow councilor, John Ronan. Anything I see that even goes near, if it goes over 2.5%, it's my vote's against it. But I look at the school budget here, and like it was said, they're over half of what we have. We're over 130 million, so there's $65 million there. There's 6 people on this school committee. All right, if we were to give them a $2,000 raise, that's a $12,000 increase out of $65 million. And quite honestly, I don't like any of their budget, none of their budget. I think it's outrageous. Last year when we got the book, the first thing that said in their goals was we're going to hire 40 new teachers. Well, that's after they were just told to keep a level of service. How do you keep a level of service and hire 40 new teachers? Especially when grants are diminishing. But I mean, that's another story for another time. Over here, this amounts to $12,000. And I got to tell you, I know what they go through. I know what we go through here on this council. I'm not going to say the exact thing that everybody else has said because everybody said it, all right? We didn't take these jobs for the money, all right? It helps take the sting out of it, but we certainly didn't take the jobs for the money because the number of hours that we put in is outrageous. I do not want to, I don't know the significance of paragraph 1 changing the date. Paragraph 2, I would go along with my fellow councilor beside me here, Councilor Fury, and I would say let's change that to 4,500. All right? In paragraph 3, I do not want to be sitting here discussing this every 2 years. Change it to 4,500, end of conversation. All right? That's where I would go with this. And those people that have emailed me and said, no, don't give them anything, they don't deserve it, be careful you're not targeting the individual. It's the position. Is the position worth it? I believe the position is definitely worth it. All right? And toward those, I'm sorry that I'm going to be offending my friends, especially some very close friends, but I'm going to be voting for it. If this goes to 4,500, I will be supporting that. At $500, I think it's an insult, and I will not support it, nor do I want any of this other stuff. I just want it cut clear. This is the amount, end of conversation. Thank you.
Councilor Pelletier.
I'm a little unclear, my colleague across the aisle. You said you didn't want to go beyond the 2.5%, but yet you want to give 4,500. Am I correct on that?
Councilor Sosnowski.
Yes or no, that's all. I don't need an explanation.
We have certain... No, you're asking me a question. I'll give you an explanation. We have certain people in the city side here that have rather substantial increases, tens of thousands of dollars, all right? 20%. That isn't happening, not on my watch, all right? Here we're talking about taking, if they were unpaid and we gave them $5,000, what would that be, a 500% increase? All right? Does that violate 2.5? Yeah. But let's put everything in a real perspective point here. All right? This is not the violation of the 2.5 per se, because it's just the numbers, no, they're not there.
Okay, Mr. President. I would certainly entertain an amendment, but that's up to the chair of the committee. But I hear all this talk out here, 4,500 here and there. I'd entertain a vote on that if that's what the rest of the council wants. But vote it now, up or down, okay? Let's be done with it. The motion on the floor is for $500.
No, it's
Okay? Raise.
Can we do that?
What's that?
It was amended. The amendment's on the floor first.
1 second,
No,
Councilor
well,
Sargent.
she didn't accept the amendment. I thought she didn't accept the amendment.
No.
Whose amendment did she accept?
Tom's got an amendment.
Councilor Fury made an amendment, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
but she's got to ask the
Seconded
chair.
by, no.
Was it seconded? Councilor Sosnowski, you
I
second
would
that?
second Councilor Fury's amendment.
Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Mr. President.
But
I'm just trying to keep this simple as possible, and looking at the basic math. I mean, if I took my own pay from 23 years ago, it's 225% more than it was 23 years ago, working at the power plant. And if you did 2% year by year by year for 23 years, it would go from $2,500 to roughly $4,000. If you went 3% per year by year, it would be roughly $5,000. That would be looked at from today doing it tomorrow, be looked at as a 100% raise. Sounds like somebody got a real big raise. I'd love to get a 100% raise, but it's over 23 years. The 2% coming out to $4,000 compounded yearly would be called a 60% raise. But you know, I didn't get a 225% raise this year. My raises went roughly 3% over 23 years, and I make 250% more than I made 23 years ago. I must be really rich if I made that big a raise. And you can do the math and you can make the headlines, but all in all, we just have to look at it as a matter of fundamental fairness that, you know, I mean, the Bible says when people work, they should be paid and compensated. I mean, we all know that we don't make minimum wage for the hours we put in, and these people don't either. So we just have to take a good look at that and decide what we want to do. Thank you.
Council Sosnowski.
Mr. President, my seconding of Councilor Fury's change of the number would also include getting rid of all the other language and just simply being just a change in the number. Thank you.
That's another amendment.
It's a separate, that would be a separate amendment, be a second.
Except it was a friendly amendment, Tom can, right?
Did he?
Do you want to
Yeah, I apologize, Mr. President, if I may. I went for a single, one-shot deal, $4,500 up or down routine. This committee.
That's what you want. He won't.
That should be reviewed every 2
Eliminate
years.
number 3.
But we do it for the mayor. Why shouldn't we do this for the city council and school committee at the same time? I think that was worth it, very professional on Council Lovelace's part, committee's part. That's worthy of, gives it a professional status.
So it doesn't happen again. Council Sosnowski, just.
Thank you. Actually, I will yield the floor to my fellow council.
Council Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President. Everyone that came before the Committee on Administration and Finance, I wanted to impress upon that I wasn't taking my position personally or randomly. I didn't want to look at these raises on an individual basis because there may be many people that deserve raises. The problem is, globally, you have to take a look at the budget. There are 1,650 people listed as employees of the City of Salem in the budget. 1,650. If you give everyone that's deserving a raise, you can't afford it. So that's why I said, I've drawn the line in the sand. 2.5% is the maximum raise I'm going to give to anyone. So when Jim Fleming called me earlier today, I told him, I said, you know, I'm not going to argue with you, Jim, about whether or not the members of the school board are deserving of a raise. It's a stipend, and I know that you're not doing the job for the money, and I know you're not getting paid, you know, what you deserve. But I'm doing this because if you consider that, you know, over 1,650 employees, you save quite a bit of money on the budget side. So that's why the line is drawn in the sand where it's drawn. I said, Jim, I've lost quite a bit of friends. I may not have any friends left by the time this budget's over. He said, no, your brother-in-law and I still think you're a pretty good guy. And I said, Jim, I can't support your $500 raise. He said, you lost me. So it's not, it really is not personal. But unless you draw a line and you stop thinking position to position to position, or person by person by person, there is no way to save the taxpayers any money. So that's my position.
Council Ronan, you, on the Finance Committee, you recommended $6,000. Why did you change it?
Mr. President, that was long before the budget came out. That was before we knew that the budget was going to jump from $127 million to $131 million. That was before we knew that the tax rate was going to increase. The real estate tax rate was going to increase if we go along with the budget by 3.98%. It was before all of those things. That was before I knew that there wasn't $1 left on the table that could be spent legally in the City of Salem under the budget. Okay. That is, we are absolutely at the tax levy capacity. We can't spend $1 more without violating Proposition 2.5. So when Dr. Walsh had and I commented on how brave he was to bring this matter in, when he brought it in and he made good points that the school committee is underpaid, I agreed with him, and I agree with that premise. But at this point in time, I think the more pressing issue is to decide whether the City of Salem can afford to pay anyone, let alone anyone, a 20% raise. So that's why my line's at 2.5%.
Councilor Fury.
The hour's getting late, Mr. President, and we're getting several pages to go on our agenda. I'd like to just request to move the question on raising 4,500 up or down, and from that point, if we do vote it up or down, we go on the motion of the committee. If I may move the question?
All right, so Council Lovely, do you accept that amendment to,
What's the amendment?
to change it to the amount from
To $4,500.
from $3,000 to $4,500?
Move it up or down, vote it up or down.
The committee would have to decide that.
Yeah, wouldn't we have to?
He can propose an amendment, we vote on the amendment, then if it fails or should, then we vote on
Yes,
the
thank you.
recommendation.
Appreciate it.
Doesn't
Council-
matter, I don't have to accept, it's not up to me.
Council Pelletier?
My friend from Ward 5, of the 1,000 or so employees, how many are union? You got that figure for me?
Are we gonna argue that you wanna argue the budget
Council
now?
Pelletier through me. and
Through you,
nothing now.
through you. I want to be curious as to, in his defense, of
Nothing to do with what we're
not
talking
giving
about.
raises, because, hold on, Ms. President, I got the floor. Unions get their raises, okay? They get them, and when they don't, years go by, they get them on the backside, okay? Our folks in the clerk's office, they're salaried, they're non-union, okay? They need raises, all right? And to keep quality people instead of bouncing from town to town. You know, I agree, maybe a step and a raise, but for that, let's vote up or down on this
Okay.
school committee.
Thank you,
Let's
Council.
get this over with, I'm tired.
Council Lovely?
Just one more comment I want to make. You know, when the members of a couple of members of the school committee were here, Dr. Walsh, Dr. Crane was here, Nate was here. They made it pretty clear that they did not want this to trigger pension. They said, no, we do not want this to trigger pension benefits. So to their credit, they weren't looking to raise this, above that $5,000 threshold. And right now, we could grant them, the city council has the power to grant
Health
them health
benefits.
insurance, and they weren't looking for those health insurance benefits either. So I do want to, I think the school committee does a great job, and I want to revisit this and get them up to where they should be. I'm just opposed to a 200 or 300% raise at this time. I think a 20% raise this year, let's look at it in 2 years, and let's get it is where it's supposed to be. But I just think doing it all in one fell swoop of a 200 or 300% raise is just too much. Okay, thank you.
Council Sosnowski?
Question.
Thank you, Mr. President. I made the suggestion during that meeting that we increase it $500 each year until we get to $4,500. And I was told we can't do that. It's very simple.
Okay.
Move the question, Mr. President.
Okay, on Council Fiore's amendment to change the dollar amount from deleting the compensation of $2,500 and replacing it with $4,500 as opposed to the $3,000 that was recommended by the committee.
Crystal, roll call, please.
Roll call, Mr. President.
Roll call vote, 3 hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Madam City Clerk, can you please call the roll? A yes vote would be to agree to the amendment of increasing the pay to $4,500. A no vote would be to not increasing it to $4,500. And this is on the amendment.
Counselor Sosnowski?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ronan?
No.
Counselor Prevey?
Yes.
Counselor Pinto?
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier?
No.
Counselor O'Keefe?
No.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
No.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes. We just need a simple majority on this one? Okay. On the amendment to $4,500, 11 councilors voting, 7 in the affirmative, 4 in the negative. The matter carries. On what?
It's a financial matter, it needs
Need 8
2/3.
votes?
Two-thirds.
All right.
Two-thirds.
So it needs 2/3.
Salary ordinances require 8 votes.
Salary changes increase, yep.
8 votes, okay. So 7 in the affirmative, 4 in the negative. It needed a supermajority, 8 votes, so the matter fails.
I move that we act on the committee's recommendation at this point.
Councilor O'Keefe moves that we act on the original recommendation to increase the pay from $2,500 to $3,000. Any further discussion?
Sorry, what? Okay.
What you submitted.
Councilor O'Keefe is what you said.
What we submitted, what the committee
Yeah.
chair submitted is before us.
Councilor Pinto.
Clarification, please, on the vote.
On this vote, it would be for the original report submitted by Councilor Lovely to delete 1989, replace it with 2001, and
2011.
delete the compensation from 2,500 to 3,000, and then also look at the pay in January 2012. Every 2 years, first 3 months of the city's council's biennial
Roll call, Mr.
organization.
President.
Councilor O'Keefe asked for roll call vote.
Roll
3
call vote.
hands.
Needs 8 votes.
It needs 8 votes.
8
correct.
votes.
Madam City Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counsel Sosnowski,
No.
Counsel Sergeant,
Yes.
Counsel Ronan,
No.
Counsel Prevey,
Yes.
Counsel Pinto,
Yes.
Counsel Pelletier,
Yes.
Counsel O'Keefe,
Yes.
Counsel McCarthy,
Yes.
Counsel Lovely,
Yes.
Counsel Fury,
Yes.
Counsel Ryan.
Yes. Okay, on Council Lovely's report to increase the pay from $2,500 to $3,000. 11 councilors voted, 9 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative. The matter carries.
Immediate reconsideration, Mr. President. Hope it will not prevail.
Councilor O'Keefe asked for immediate reconsideration. Hopes it does not prevail. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Further committee reports. Council McCarthy?
Endless.
Thank you, Mr. President. First one. City of Salem City Council, June 9th, 2011, the Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of an appropriation of $360,000 from retained earnings water fund to reduce the gross amount raised through water rates to fund the FY 2012 water enterprise budget, has considered said matter and recommend approval.
Okay, on acceptance report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. We met earlier this evening with Mr. Viskey, the Finance Director, and as was spoken earlier by Councilor Ronan, as he argued a point with regards to another matter, basically, this year we're going to take money to offset the increase in in this case, the water fund. If we didn't do this, there would be the rate would go up 10.6%, up to 10.6%. And since we are doing this, it would the water increase would be 3%. The feeling was this is a one-time. We're going to take money out of retained earnings, put it towards this, because at the same time we're doing this, we are also incorporating a new water meter program. The water meters are looking to recapture a lot of the water that we lose. The amount that flows out of the Salem Beverly Water Board over to Salem, where there's a big, huge meter over there, tells us how much money we use, how much water we use, and we add up all the meters over here, and lo and behold, we're missing a percentage. Hopefully with the new meters that are recalibrated and more efficient, that percentage will go down, which will actually offset the cost of the program, because the water that we lose gets divided up amongst everybody else. Also, what was brought up during the meeting is the debt service with regards to the infrastructure repairs that we do. Water isn't quite as much as the sewer, but we had different debt service repairs with regards to the water main on Rantoul Street and a few others that drive the cost of this. So the feeling was that this one time we'll appropriate the money out of this to try to offset the increases, and hopefully 6 months or 9 months from now we can look at what's happening with the water meter program, and hopefully we'll be able to move forward and keep the water rate down. So the committee recommends approval.
Thank you, Council McCarthy. Further discussion, Council Prevey?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm a member of the committee as well and took part of that discussion. And one of the questions I had asked the Finance Director, Mr. Viskey, was, what did we, what amount of money did we use in the past to apply for this offset? And the answer was no. So this is the first time we're actually doing this from the administration standpoint, and I actually want to thank the administration for doing this, because obviously, as counselors, we often hear about, the complaint from residents regarding their property taxes, but the other complaint we also hear from people is, the rising bills that people incur regarding their water and sewer bills that they get. And so this really kind of helps to kind of blunt the increases that are necessary and that go along with water and sewer increases. So I want to thank the administration for taking this money that we do have available and applying it to offset it, so the residents can actually enjoy the fact that the rates aren't going up as much as they normally would under the current proposal.
Thank you, Councilor Creevy. Further discussion, Councilor Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President, it may be that this is a step increase, maybe. This year, once we take $360,000 from our retained earning account and we put it into this water account, we are limiting the increase that we're going to pass on to our ratepayers from 10.6% down to 3%. Of course, what we're doing is we're really putting this money into the water account to cover the increase that we had because we made such infrastructure repair that our debt service amount is now very high. Unless we recapture that amount each year, of course, we'll have to have another step increase next year. Right now, we have just $114,000 left in our retained earnings account for any infrastructure repair if we were to have any on the water side. We're going to do the same thing on the sewer side. But essentially what we're doing is we're trying to pad the impact in the next year to the ratepayers because of all of the work we've done on the water and sewer lines. And we're hoping that with the replacing of the meters that they're not going to get whacked again further up the line. Because if the meters came back and they did exactly the same thing as the old meters, we're going to face the same problem further upstream next, in 2012. So we're hoping that with the new meters, they come out and they produce more revenue for us, and we're able to actually pass on the water rates to those who are using the water, so that the increase in 2013 can be substantially less than the 10.6 that we're trying to avoid right now.
Further discussion? None being, all those in favor? Opposed? Carries. Further committee reports. Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, June 9, 2000, the Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of appropriation of $148,000 from retained earnings sewer fund to reduce the gross amount raised through sewer rates to fund the 2012 sewer enterprise budget, has considered said matter and recommend approval.
On acceptance report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. As was just stated by a few of my colleagues in the Administration and Finance Committee, we had the same discussion with regard to the water rate as we did the sewer rate. And if this year we did not act on this, the sewer rate would go up 3.9%. But since if the committee recommends approval and if the council agrees with that, it's going to only go up 2%. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we have a very old infrastructure and that we are bonding to do repairs, and all of that is an intent to try to, because the water rate is directly tied to the sewer rate because of usage, that if we recapture that water that's being lost or not accounted for properly, that this will be able to bring the bills down. As part of Mr. Viscay's presentation when he came in today to talk to us about this, he also included a chart, which I will be giving to the city clerk, that actually shows that Salem actually has some of the lower water sewer rates around. So we try to keep those low. We're trying to keep those low, as at the same time we're trying to rebuild the aging infrastructure. So the committee recommends approval of this.
Thank you, Council McCarthy. Any further discussion? None being, all those in favor? Opposed? Matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor O'Keefe, can you take the?
Chair recognizes Councilor Ward, Jerry L. Wine. Councilor Wine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee ad hoc committee for re-precincting, to whom was referred adoption of a plan in legal language for wards and precincts, has considered said matter and would recommend adoption for first passage by roll call vote.
All in favor of accepting the committee's recommendation? Opposed? So voted. Remarks, Councilor?
Mr. President, this was in response to the census that was done every 10 years. We had to re-precinct all the wards based on the population. We were given a map by the state. City clerk and Ollie from GIS worked very hard putting all this together. We met, all the ward councilors met. We went over one day, went over the map, and we had to change a couple things. There's a couple quirks that we couldn't really fix. Hopefully we can get it fixed for next time around. But it was a big process, and I actually stumbled upon it when I was looking at the lease agreement back in 2001. Council Lovely had I think you chaired the committee that did the re-precincting. The good thing about it is now that we have the computers and the maps and stuff, it made it a lot easier. I can't imagine what you had to go through to go into Boston and keep doing all that stuff. A lot of work, and this was a lot of work. It might not be perfect, but I think it's the best that we can do right now.
Thank you, Council. Any remarks further? Hearing none? Council Previous.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to stand and recognize the city clerk for her outstanding work during this process, her and Ollie. They had to coordinate it with all the ward councilors, as you know, Mr. President, and it's hard to coordinate all our schedules and get the work done under the deadline that the city clerk was operating under. So she did a tremendous amount of work. So I want to take this opportunity to thank her and the assistant city clerk for all their hard work in making this happen, so we're in compliance with the state mandate, and we can move forward with the new redistricting when it takes effect.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other remarks? All in favor of the report re-precincting? All in favor?
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Clerk will please call the roll on this matter.
Counselor Sosnowski?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ronan?
Yes.
Counselor Prevey?
Yes.
Counselor Pinto?
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier?
Present.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
On the matter of the re-precincting of the city as recommended by the Council Committee of the Whole, the vote is 10 yeas, 0 nays, and 1 present. I declare the matter adopted, the re-precincting adopted. Any reconsideration?
For the record,
Sir?
Mr. President, I was out of the room, so that's why I had to vote present. I didn't know it was on the agenda. Thank you.
Councilor Pinto.
I'll move for immediate reconsideration and hope it does
Councilor
not
Pinto
prevail.
moves for reconsideration. All in favor of immediate reconsideration? Opposed?
Opposed.
Unanimous. Denied reconsideration. Councilor Ryan. President?
Communications from city officials.
We have a communication from Charles Pulio, Chairman for the Planning Board, with the Planning Board recommendation to accept the withdrawal of the petition to rezone 111 Highland Avenue from residential 1R1 to wholesale and automotive B4.
So lovely, can you take this one and this needs to be received and placed on
That it be
file?
received and placed on file.
That's a lovely move that be received and placed on file. Further petitions.
A request from the residents of Shore Avenue to hold a block party along the seawall on Monday, July 4th, 2011, from noon to 10 p.m.
Councilor Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President, this, I am told, is the 16th year that the residents of Shore Avenue have held this very same block party on July 4th. It's a wonderful place for a party, and they throw a wonderful party. So I'm asking for unanimous support of this matter.
Thank you, Councilor Ronan.
We're all getting invited.
I threatened, and I got an email on it this year, I threaten every year to show up, but maybe this will be the year.
All invited. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions.
We request from the residents of Hemingway Road and Osgood Park to hold a block party on Monday, July 4th, 2011, from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, I move that the petition of the Osgood Park Association be granted for the 4th of July from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and that all of my colleagues be invited over there. It's probably the 50th year they've had it.
Councilor O'Keefe. All those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions.
We have a request from the residents of Scenic Avenue to hold a block party on Saturday, July 16th, from noon to midnight.
Councilor Pinto.
Yeah, move for approval.
Councilor Pinto moves for approval. All those in favor? Further petitions.
We request the residents of Puritan Road to hold a block party on Saturday, August 27th, with a rain date of September 3rd.
Councilor Pinto.
Move it be granted, Mr. President.
Councilor Pinto moves that the Puritan Road block party be granted and that everyone is invited. All those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions.
We have a request from the Floating Hospital for Children, Tufts Medical Center, to use city streets to hold a Cycle for Life on September 17th, starting from Marblehead and traveling through Salem and ending in Manchester by the Sea, starting at 9 a.m.
Councilor Lovely.
Move for approval?
Councilor Lovely moves for approval. All those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions.
We have a communication from Victor Cora, manager of Segway Salem, informing council of new business name change to Salem Seg Gliders.
Council Lovely.
Move that it be received and placed on file.
Council Lovely moves it be received and placed on file. Further petitions.
We have 2 public guide and 2 tag day applications.
Council Lovely.
Move they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Council Lovely moves it be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor, opposed? Further petitions.
We have 2 claims.
Council Lovely.
Be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Council Lovely moves it to be referred to Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor, opposed? Further petitions.
We have 3 sign bonds.
Council Lovely.
Move they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and returned approved.
Council Lovely moves that referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs and returned approved. All those in favor, opposed? Unfinished business, none. Councilor O'Keefe.
Move for adjournment.
Councilor O'Keefe moves for adjournment. All those in favor, opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Good job, Mr. President.